What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Procedurally Generated, the show about the random history of video games. My name is Chris Weber. I'm here with John Carson.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And we're gonna do this thing. What, John? What did you get up to this week?
Oh boy. What didn't I get up to? It's been we are now officially in the new generation of consoles. So a lot of my week has been playing everything but new games. It's been getting the PS5 and Xbox Series X up and running. I think the last episode I had the Series X, and I was like waiting for things to install. I've just been checking out older games like Monster Hunter. What else have I been playing? I've been playing Monster Hunter on like both for a week.
Perfect. Now, with this release, this
Yeah.
is officially both consoles are out. Does that mean that PlayStation 2 and Xbox are now officially retro, or is it Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3? Is it two generations? Is that the
I think it's two generations, or if you go by Jeff Grubb's classification of like 20 years. I think
he goes based on
years.
years. He doesn't do generations. Oh,
he does. So like every time there's a new game that's like, oh, this came out 20 years ago, it's officially retro now. It's like, no, what? Why are you doing this? What do you mean Sonic Adventure is retro?
Yes, well, that's true. You had your Xbox. I was coming to get my Xbox from you the following day.
That's true.
Now I officially have a Series X that my wife has played infinitely more than I have, but that's okay.
Good.
I have a PC. She doesn't.
Well, that's because you wiped your entire PC and made it into its own Xbox.
I did. You may have heard on one of the episodes prior, I don't know which one, where I had complained that my PC Game Pass doesn't work. Well, it works now. It just took a complete reformatting of my PC.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Just a little Band-Aid.
Something nice and simple. So,
yeah. How you liking that thing, though? I know you haven't played it as much as your wife, but
it's good. You know, it's one of those things. So I booted up Forza, which was great, but it was weird because I play so many games on my PC monitor that when I transitioned back to the living room and played it on our big screen TV, it was weirdly like everything's too far away. Like I can't see what's coming. So the weird thing is like I've always been a console gamer. I've played my console games over the last year, but I've played everything on my monitor where I'm a foot and a half, 2 feet from the screen. So it was actually shockingly hard for me to transition to being that far away from the screen. But we did bring it in, hooked it up to the monitor, and I streamed a little Forza, played a little Rocket League, and curiously, Rocket League seemed more difficult on the Xbox because it was too smooth. It almost felt like it was too responsive.
Is that just running at 60 right now? They have a 120.
They have a 120
mode
update that isn't out yet, so it was running at just 60. But something about I don't know what if it was just maybe higher fidelity or what, but it just felt like I was almost compensating to the point where I was like too early on things. I don't know. It was strange. We went back. We played on PC and it felt normal again. So.
Oh, good.
Plus, when I stream from a console, when I stream from a console too, I have a mix amp that works with an optical input, and the new consoles don't have optical. So I splurged and I spent $20 on a HDMI audio extractor, which takes the HDMI audio and lets you run it through optical using this tiny little thing. So, and it worked like a dream. So it works like a champ.
Oh, good,
so
good.
I will be.
Sometimes those don't work how you want them to, and then you actually have to like splice cables to make them work.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'm really happy that this worked out because
I spent an afternoon under a boardroom desk trying to get a HDMI de-embedder to work properly. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that worked out. So that was a relief. So when I do play my console games, I'll have access. The biggest issue that I have when I stream is that I can't hear alerts because of the two sources being different. So
Oh,
that's
sure.
that issue.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that whole audio setup with my streaming setup. Now having two PCs and consoles, and like, do I have to hook up speakers to the streaming PC? I also have it hooked up to a TV in my room here, and I feed audio from the streaming PC to that TV. So if I'm playing things on my normal gaming PC, do I have to keep that TV on so I can hear alerts? It's a huge
Oof.
mess. So
Yeah, you've got some added forks in the road, it appears,
yeah.
compared to what I use.
Oh yeah. So you played Forza, played some Rocket League. Anything else that you've checked out? Yeah, the Kate was playing State of Decay
Yeah, she is a
a bunch.
huge State of Decay fan. She played the
I
original, but
did not know that.
we sold our Xbox One to get the Switch before State of Decay 2 came out, so she never had a chance to play it.
Oh,
So she was chomping at the bit to get in there and play it, and she loves it. She's thrilled to be playing it. I think she's looking forward to the third one that's coming out
good.
here at some point. But yeah, she's gonna play that. She's got Duty.
She's got that duty.
Over the last week, I bought Call of Duty twice, which kills me a
Oh,
little bit on the
really?
PS5, but I have it on my PC, and Kate has it on the
uh,
Xbox. So, um, you know,
well, good.
that's
That's
what Call of Duty
crossplay,
does
right?
to you. That is crossplay, yeah. So
Okay, good, good.
I get to play with
Wow,
her and some
that's.
other people in the community. So it's a good time. Still working on getting that PS5 though. That
Let me tell you,
is not looking good for a
it.
while.
Guess what? It is pretty good though.
Yeah,
It's a nice console.
I know. I want it.
Um, that controller is very cool. I figured out today. I found out today. Um, saw a picture of the back of someone's controller, and it looked real gross. Then I looked at the back of
Oh,
my controller, and it is getting gross.
I saw that same picture and I was like,
Being a
yo,
textured white controller, you're gonna have to clean that thing like every week if you play
yeah,
regularly.
that thing was looking nasty.
Yeah, and like living in a time where I'm washing my hands 20 times a day. I don't
And
know
it's
how that
still
controller
gross.
gets dirty.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where dirt's coming from. But yeah, it's getting kind of gross. Um, I did boot up a couple of PS4 games on there. Uh, God of War looks just superb.
Nice.
This runs so well on there. And I think Ghost of Tsushima should have been a PS5 launch game.
Yeah.
Because like that game looks awesome on PS4 and it runs well. But it looks even better and runs even better on PS5. Like in a transformational way. Like I would want to play that game again with like 4K 60. It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful.
So much
Um,
as like, there's a lot made about Xbox and its smart delivery. Xbox One
yep.
games will be optimized for Series S, Series X. What is PlayStation 5 doing? Are they just upresing? Is it any sort of
Yeah,
is it
so it's
just as simple as being on better hardware looks better?
right, and that's what Xbox is doing for anything that's not smart delivery.
Okay.
So it's just running off of that additional CPU and GPU.
Okay.
Uh, like
Huh.
a lot of games in the last generation, especially after like the One X came out and the PS4 Pro, they started to have modes that were like performance mode or like graphical quality mode.
I remember that with
And
Neo.
usually, what was that?
I remember that with Neo. You could that was the
Yes,
one game that I
I
remember you
think
could
Neo was the first one to actually do that.
yeah, you could select
Uh,
the did you want 30 FPS but like have like the graphics look banging, or were you okay with downgrading that to have like an ultra smooth gameplay experience? So that was neat.
right. So like Tsushima has something like that. God of War has something like that. One of the PS5 games, Godfall, has that, and it's like picking between 30 frames per second or running at least on like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. It was like we'll unlock the frame rate, and we'll drop it to like 1080p, or do a variable resolution, we'll focus on frame rate. And so all these games that had a variable resolution and a variable frame rate are all, because of the boosted power, are running at their full targeted frame rate and their full targeted resolution, whether that's like 1800p or 4K.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's really amazing. So I think that alone is, at least for me, that's a reason to get one of the new consoles.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward
Hmm.
to it. We are
Hmm.
all very much in on every tweet that Wario64 puts out, trying to get into. We've been in multiple PlayStation Direct queues. I've even made it through the queue to the store, only to find out it's out of
Out of
it's out
stock.
of stock.
Yeah,
So you know what? We'll
I've been
keep up the
trying
good
for you.
fight. Have you? Oh, bless your
Yes.
heart.
Oh, I have. I have. Like, not as
Nice.
hard as you have, but yeah, I've been
Well, you should be
trying.
trying harder. In fact,
Hey,
like what the hell?
I'm online all the time. It's bound to happen, right?
It's true. That's true. It's nice to know I got people looking out for me. Let's see what else we got going on. So, I'd mentioned last week that I was playing some World of Final Fantasy. We decided to step away
Mhm.
from that since I'd already beaten it. I was starting to feel familiar, and I was like, you know what? Let's get into something new that I haven't beaten. And it's not necessarily new, but I did play and finish up. Actually, just before we started streaming, a little game called Celeste. That game
Yeah,
was cool as hell. I don't know if you
it's
know
a cool
about
game.
this.
I do. I
Yeah,
do know about Celeste.
no that game
I
got a.
haven't beat it.
You haven't beaten it?
Uh, no, I think I got to like chapter 3 or something, but
Okay, yeah.
I'll let you talk about it since it's really fresh in your memory.
Yeah, well, it came out in 2017, got all kinds of love, all kinds of, awards, and it was fun to watch the hype around that game. So I bought it and I played it on the Switch, and I don't know if like I've come to realize this, that when I stream games, there's a much better chance that I finish them because I'm playing them with people. It's sometimes I can get distracted, and if I get distracted and I lose my, you know, base for why I'm playing the game in the first place, I'll just
Hmm.
stop playing it. With the streaming, I don't do that as often. I do it sometimes, World of Final Fantasy,
Yeah,
but
that stream guilt.
yeah, right. But this was one where I was like, if I started on stream, I'm going to finish it, and I did. I mean, finish is maybe not the right term because I'm not going to do side
I,
B.
I
I'm
mean,
not going to do
yeah,
side C. I'm
you're
a
1/3 of the way through. It's
baby
fine.
gamer,
You
100%.
saw credits, right?
I did see credits. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
that counts. That
Yeah,
counts.
100%. I know who made the game now, so
That counts in every game, but like near.
right.
That's like the
Yes.
only game where that doesn't count.
And it's beating that game, playing that game. Even people that were popping in my chat were like, "I am shocked that you like this game," and I'm also shocked that I like this game. And I think what I narrowed it down to. So I'm not a huge fan of platformers. When everybody in the world was playing Hollow Knight, I was like, nah, not for me. I played it even. So somebody like
Hollow Knight's not a platformer though.
Hollow Knight is a platformer.
I think it's more of a it's more akin to like a Dark Souls for me.
Well, yeah, but it's like a 2D side scroller. I mean,
Sure,
it's
there is
yeah,
platforming involved.
there's platforming elements, I would say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I never got into that. I could not find any love for it. But I think Celeste, because it removes the combat mechanic out of the game, which is something that normally I'm fine with combat, but I think
Yeah.
it's 2D games where I don't care for it. So when you take the
It's
combat
like a
away, and
dexterous puzzle.
yeah, but when you focus on the precision platforming part of it, I think I find that so much more rewarding, and Celeste does a good job of throwing you right back in the action. I think it's really similar to like a Super Meat Boy, um,
Right.
which is going to be going on my list as something that I want to play now because again, Celeste kind of I think it's pretty in line with Celeste. Um,
Right.
but yeah, that game was awesome. So I can I can strongly recommend that if anybody likes kind of throwback difficult, there are some very hard parts. Um, 2D side scrolling platformers that you should check out Celeste. A lot
Yeah.
of it's cool. You don't level up, you don't learn new things, but new things are introduced to kind of help you develop skills that you've been already working on. So it's
Hmm.
a lot of a lot of fun. But that's pretty much all I'm playing. In personal news, our Christmas tree is up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was
All
actually up
decorated
last
and everything, or
week.
just the tree?
The tree has lights on it, so we bought a new tree
Okay,
this year. We got a big old 10-footer. It's great. I love it.
very
But
nice.
the box was super heavy, and we're like, well, let's just put it up instead of putting it away and then digging it back out again. So,
Yeah.
where do you stand on when Christmas decorations go up? Are you a whenever, as long as it's cold out? Are you only after Thanksgiving? What are your thoughts?
So these days, I think it's anytime like mid-November is probably fine for me.
Okay, all right.
Seeing stuff like before Halloween is always
That's a little
discouraging.
strange. I put my
Yeah,
foot down. In fact, I thought I was always going to put my foot down as like, no, we're not doing this before
until
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
how
then
my
they
mom is.
they delivered our tree, and it's like, okay, well, I'll make an exception.
So my dad loves Christmas. It, and if he had it his way, he would have Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving, like well before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
My mom won't let it happen. She won't let him play Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. Like there is a
Oh
hard
yeah,
rule in the house uh, that that it just doesn't happen until that holiday is done with.
yeah.
Um,
Kate played "All I Want for Christmas Is You" or whatever by Mariah Carey, and I was like, we
yeah,
could.
it's
All right, you're crossing the
let's
line. All right,
stop this.
we're this. This isn't how this is gonna work. I could actually give or take. No, I could not. I could leave behind um, Christmas music in general.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I these days it's like there's ones that I liked when I was a kid, but like I'm not out there looking for new Christmas songs. I'm not out singing Christmas carols.
yeah,
I
well,
guess
that's
that's
the
just not
problem.
my
It's like it's the
not my thing.
same music over and over again. Like I
Yeah,
just. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, and then the kind of last thing that I have, this one's kind of a downer, but it's a topic of specific to the times that we live in.
yeah.
We as a family are quarantining, and have been
Again?
since Monday. Yeah,
Oh
because
man.
Jack had a little bit of a fever, and so he's got a COVID test tomorrow. So I'm not working this week. I mean, I am, but
Is that why that early stream happened yesterday?
yeah, I do what I can during the day, and then I'm like, well, this is not
Yeah.
really a work from home job, so good enough.
well, well, I hope everything's all right there.
Yeah, I think he's
Um,
fine. He's bouncing around. He's all over the place, but we want to do our due diligence to make sure that we help stop the spread and all that. And this is kind of the
yeah,
best way to do that. So we'll be taking him in to get that done tomorrow. We'll provide updates as we find out more.
cool. Yeah, we just found out. I found out officially today. My brother-in-law was confirmed
Oh, okay,
positive.
that sucks.
So Thanksgiving is not happening, at
Yeah,
least with the extended family, which is perfectly fine. Everyone, if you need to, uh, stay home, stay safe.
yeah.
Uh, if we end up missing 2 holidays, it's not going to be the end of the world. So
Right. Yeah. And Jack could very well come back as negative, but I actually gave my mom a call yesterday. She was going to come up and spend Thanksgiving with uh, Kate and I, obviously, and then we were going to go to her parents'
right,
house. But I had to tell her like, we're actually just gonna call it this year, and it sucks. Like this,
yeah,
uh, you know. We talked about this a little bit last week, how we don't want to get things too political and stuff like that, and I don't think it's a matter of politics anymore. It's about doing the right thing. But um, wear your mask, people.
hmm
Just please help stop this from getting any worse. My father passed away earlier this year, which I think I've said before, but it's
yeah,
tough telling my mom that she can't come to holidays.
yeah.
So that's kind of that's I've mentioned it on the Twitch channel and all that stuff. If it's getting to be the point where you just need to kind of stand up and stop messing around with this thing. So
Totally. On the bright side, though, you get more leftovers for you.
we do, yes, that is
So
true. Yes.
we've decided to make Thanksgiving dinner for ourselves, which my wife and I have never done. So that's going to be a fun adventure next week that I'm really looking forward to.
I expect photographic updates. I want to see how the turkey. You're doing turkey or ham?
turkey. We're doing
Turkey.
turkey.
All right. I want to see how
Yes.
the turkey.
But probably like I think we're doing like a turkey breast or some smaller variation on turkey. I think Rose and I are more sides people.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. I
give
don't
us
even like turkey.
stuffing, give us mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, pies, all that kind of stuff. The turkey is like I know it's the centerpiece, but it's probably my least looked forward to thing. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, I mean if I had the choice to replace turkey with ham on Thanksgiving, I 100% ham.
Oh,
Don't
sure.
even not even a
There
question.
you go. Go ham on it.
Yeah. Aha. Gross.
Haha.
But yeah, I don't know. Anything else going on with you, John,
No,
this week?
other I guess I've talked about old games. I've also been playing some Yakuza Like a Dragon,
Ah,
which
yes.
is currently my next gen. Well, it's on regular Xbox. It's on PS4 as well and PC. You
Yeah.
guys can all play it. It's fine. Uh, it's been my game of choice for the last week. Like that's the thing that I've been trying to go back to all the time.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. It's a Yakuza JRPG, and it's awesome. And I think everyone should play it. Might I might stream some at some point. I don't really want to talk about the story too much on here
Yeah.
because I think people should just experience it. It's a lot of fun. Characters are great. Um, I'm in love with the whole setting and the world. It's awesome.
The Yakuza franchise is one that I need to dive into, but when I heard that this one was going to be turn-based combat, I was very excited because the combat is the one thing that I have had an issue with the Yakuza games. I've talked myself out of playing them because of the combat, and just like I said before, like I think it's a perfect streaming game for me because it'll help me get through the combat to experience the story, which I've heard people just ooh and ah over for
Yeah,
years now. So I feel like I'm
there's a
definitely
lot of
missing
cool stuff in
something
there.
by not playing Yakuza.
Well, and especially like the main character loves Dragon Quest and wants to be a hero
I
because
love
of
it.
Dragon Quest, and
That's
so
awesome.
that's why the battle system is what it is. You have different classes for all of your characters that are like real world jobs, but like JRPG equivalents.
Do they
Like
actually
like a
say
like
Dragon
a
Quest? Like
oh, they say Dragon Quest multiple times, like
do
all
this?
the
Okay,
time
so they,
in
they
there.
are
Yeah, which is
specifically
which is
calling
weird
out that.
for yeah. I wonder if they had to license that, like being a Sega game.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
Awesome though. I'd love to see stuff like that. That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's
Um,
it's a very creative game. Check it out. You should check it out specifically.
I
So
will, yeah, at some point. At some point, I've got my next streaming game decided, which it's also got a very distinct JRPG flavor. But it's
Final Fantasy 14.
no, well, yeah, we started playing Final Fantasy 14. I actually forgot to mention that.
We
So
sure did.
well, it was gonna. I think it's gonna be every Saturday, but we'll be getting
Hmm.
a group of people together and playing some Final Fantasy 14. This week will be the exception. I think it's gonna be on Sunday. Um, but I'm looking
It
forward to
is.
that. That game is
I am
dope.
too. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna fit that into my wrestling schedule.
Ooh,
There's a pay per view Sunday night, so it's like, do I play and have it on, have like wrestling on my other monitor and just not talk in Discord? I'll figure it out. I'm
yeah.
just the tank. It's fine.
There you go.
Um. Also, speaking of streaming, do you wanna rep your new stream team while
Oh
we're
yeah,
while
we
we're
could
here?
do that. So we wanted to give a couple things to promote. The Discord for Procedurally Generated now is one that is completely dedicated to procedurally generated.
Yeah.
What I've done is taken my personal Twitch Discord and migrated it to another Discord called Cryophilic Gaming. I was accepted into the ranks. A bunch of really good friends of mine, good people, great streamers. If you are looking for people to watch, I could recommend them all. Reach out to me on the Discord, and I'll get you the link to get in. Um, but yeah, I as all of my streaming updates and whatnot will be a part of Cryophilic's Discord now, and the former Discord that was for my Twitch stream is now 100% dedicated to procedurally generated. So it's another way to get in, interact with us, interact with the community.
Hmm.
Just offer up your insights, your opinions on the games that we're covering. correct us, whatever you need to do. We're gonna be throwing some special stuff in there after episodes are published. Some things that we've been wanting to do since week 1, which we can probably go back and do now. But it's so much. We have so many different visual things to show off specific to some of these games. We're going to use the Discord for that for now, and probably indefinitely. But until we get a
right, we can't not share cool stuff.
Right. And trust me, there has been some cool stuff. But yeah, so that's big news. I'm very excited to be a part of Cryophilic.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
I know you've been looking forward to joining them for a bit now, so
yeah,
I'm glad that they accepted you. I didn't have a doubt in my mind that they would.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's they have a very engaging community, and I'm pretty close with all of them. So
they're all great. I'm pretty new in there, but everyone's accepted me pretty well, except for one person who's changed their name to #ban Carson.
Yeah, that did not take you long to get on his bad side. My goodness. Yeah. You just that's John in a nutshell. Always just rubbing people the wrong way.
Either people are gonna love me or they're gonna change their name.
Literally change their names.
That's great. No,
so
no, that dude seems cool. I haven't really talked to him that much. But seems good.
Yeah, no, he's
gonna be playing Final Fantasy with us.
He is
on Sunday. So I don't know his real name. He was God before, and now he's #ban Carson.
He's really fallen. Oh man. But yeah, all that being said, listen, if you guys enjoy what you hear, if you guys like this stuff that we talk about, please show us some support. Leave a 5-star review on if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or whatever your review system is for your respective platform. Leave us some reviews. Check us out. We want to expand and try to talk to as many people as we can. So it would do us an amazing service. I actually checked out Podranks. I forgot it. I wrote it down somewhere, but it's
that sounds like a real place.
It was, yeah. No, it was a way to kind of like track the rankings. We're not. I don't know if you know this, John, but we're shockingly not big enough.
We're number one in gaming. What?
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't believe it.
No, in all honesty, we don't show up on the rankings list yet. But this what is it? Pod ranks? I think it's called Pod ranks. I should find out for sure. It's but it ranks beyond what's available there, and it had us on the list. So that was good. We're on a list somewhere. Now the goal is to hopefully watch that number slowly tick up as we continue to reach more people. So that leaving reviews and all that stuff are obviously crazy helpful to us.
Yep.
So
also, I know some of these episodes can get kind of long. We are entering what I like to call MMO season. It's getting cold out. You're going to be inside in front of your computer, probably playing a Final Fantasy or a World of Warcraft.
Especially
pop on the podcast. Let the time just slip on by.
There you go. That being said, we had talked about, how long we had thought that these shows would be. And I think last week showed us that I think we've hit our sweet spot. I think we're right where we're going to be. I thought last week's show was going to be a lot shorter, but good stuff to talk about. I don't want to force things out of conversations. If there's things to talk about, I want to talk about them. So look in between that 2 to 3 hour mark. I think that'll be kind of the sweet spot that we end up in. I say that knowing what we have coming up for this show, and we'll see if that's still true next week.
20 minutes later, signing off.
But yeah, and much like the podcast, if you have any comments, anything, reach out to us at pgshowinbox@gmail.com. Reach out to our Twitter, PG_show. The Discord now is procedurally generated. So if you want to jump into the procedurally generated and get to know some of the community, and reach out to us there by all means. Any other things that I'm missing in terms of reaching out? Patreon. Really. That's kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should plug our Patreon. If you are interested if you're interested in supporting us for more than in ways that are more than just listening to the podcast, we obviously would love and appreciate that. We have our tiers and our goals all set up on patreon.com/procedurally generated. Check us out there. What do you think, John? You ready to talk about some video games?
Yes.
All right. Yes.
Yes. Well, yes. Let's do it.
That's the proper
That's
inflection to use.
it's my only inflection.
So, game number one. I feel like every week we've had one game where I can say part of a long running franchise.
Yes.
But guess what? This is part of a long running franchise. This first game is Lego Batman: The Video Game.
I love that movie. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Will what's his name? Will
Will Arnett.
Arnett.
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to
Also,
say
this is
Farrell and
not
I
based on
knew.
the movie. I think the movie is slightly based on this. I guess just on
Yeah,
the Lego Batman concept.
I should probably
More
bring out
than
my
anything.
actual notes and not my run of
Might
show.
help.
Yeah, my notes run of show is not going to tell
Gosh,
me much. This is going to be a very short conversation if I go off that page.
my run of show is like the games and like my pages and pages of notes, like
um,
all in one. It's like, oh, I need to scroll through 3 pages to get to the next one. Great.
well, Lego Batman, the video game,
Mm,
developed by Traveler's Tales, published by TT Games Publishing and Warner
mhm.
Brothers Interactive Entertainment. It is an action game, beat 'em up style, released in 2008 and released on Macintosh on live 2 weeks in a row. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PSP, Wii, Windows, and Xbox 360. Do you have any
Yeah.
history with this game?
I think I played it when it came out.
Think
I think
so?
this was like the first Lego game that interested me. Like
Okay.
what they had done Lego Star Wars before this and Lego Indiana Jones maybe?
Well, therein lies my problem.
Yep.
um, there are so many Lego games,
Mhm.
and this could be harmful to the ears of any Lego fan, but I don't know what differentiates one game from the other than the obvious character inclusions. You know,
Right.
I've played the Star Wars. I think
Mhm.
I've played Batman. I honestly can't remember if I've played Batman, but I know I've played Lego games.
Right.
Um, do you have that issue where it's Lego has its brand of humor and it's hilarious. I love it, but when it comes to like the video games, the number that are released, I cannot keep track of these things.
Yeah, it's like the core of the game for all of these is pretty much the same, right? It's you're in a licensed property, you're going through a level, there's some bricks that you need to put together to like fix a bridge or like a control console or something. And then you fight some dudes and then you fight a boss. Like there are mechanically different things in each game. Like obviously Star Wars characters are going to control differently from Marvel characters, from Indiana Jones, but a lot of just the core elements is so similar that like my I don't know, my interest in any of these once I start playing it for like an hour is just like, yeah, I get it already, and I
Yeah,
don't really need to see more. Like, oh, I want to see how Iron Man can fly. I want to see how Hulk gets big. I know we're talking about a DC property here, but I think the last one I really tried was like was Marvel superheroes or Marvel's Avengers, one of those two.
yeah. I mean, I can say that they probably exist. Like
Right.
that's Lego knows. I mean, credit to them. Like I said, they've found something that is I don't want to say niche because it's not niche. What it does is it pulls in very, very popular um, licenses from across entertainment, and these are well received, well liked games. Me personally, like I struggle to find a reason, like you said, to play for longer than an hour,
Right.
because I already know what I'm getting into.
So
Uh,
I think the thing with the Lego games is that they aren't for us, right?
100%. Yes.
They are well-made family games, which you don't really see too often these days. Like you,
True.
if if you have a kid or a niece or a nephew, um, and you want to play a game with them, and they're maybe too young for some harder action games, but you're like, they like Harry Potter. Let's check out Lego Harry Potter together. Like it's an easy way to play stuff together, to bond, to maybe even get those kids into a franchise that you might enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
and that you can get a kick out of seeing those characters. Like I know I said before, like the core of the games are essentially the same, but I mean it is cool to see, or to see how they portray certain characters. Like how's Mr. Freeze gonna act? Like how's
Right.
he gonna control? What can you do with him?
Yeah. And
Whether that's like not super impactful, like that curiosity is still there. And I think that's what drives a lot of these games, and I think that's why they put so many characters in these games.
yeah, that's I guess I should k- kind of take a little bit back of what I said. That might have sounded a little overly negative. I think that there's a very good reason for these games to exist. Like kind of like what you said, that familial atmosphere that it
Right.
allows, it allows people to play together. Young kids, it does appeal to like
But
humans. It
us
does
with
appeal
our
to adults.
Galaxy Brain gamer brains, like it doesn't do much for us overall. Like we
Right.
we can respect the hell out of it and see it for what it is. But I mean, it's not going to be like the game of the year contender that we're going to be talking about for a decade.
Right. It's got a ceiling. Um, and I think to its credit, it legitimately gets to that ceiling every time. These games that come out are typically 7.5, 8 games. If you look at a rating scale, very rarely do you see one that is bad. But again, 7.5, 8 is about as good
Right.
as you can get with
I
what this
think
is.
some of the better ones are actually the sequels to this game.
Okay.
I was talking to a friend of mine this week, mentioning that we were going to be discussing this, and he was saying like, oh, like 2 is one of the best games of like all of the Lego games. Like,
Okay.
and I think that just might be they got to play around with the characters more and have a little bit more, uh, just a little bit more agency in the universe. Like a lot of these games are focused on the storylines for movies or books or other games, and it seems like rarely they get to kind of do their own thing, and they're kind of confined to whatever that property is that they're covering. But going into like Lego Batman 2 or 3, was it 3 just all supervillains?
That sounds right. I'm trying to think of the subtitle. I think it was just DC. Yeah, I don't DC. Yeah, I don't remember the subtitle, but I think one
I'll
was
I'll, I'll
focused
look
on
it
that.
up.
Yeah. Well, and with I guess to while you find that, knowing you're gonna um, chime in with respect to Lego Batman, I guess specifically, this as you said, this is not based on a individual movie or anything, and instead what it is it's kind of a conglomeration of the universe overall. Tons of characters. It's presented in a unique way that um, you you play, and I don't think this is spoilery. Were you able to find the way the game is presented in the two halves?
No.
You weren't. Okay. Um, you know what? I'm gonna just say it.
Oh
So
no, that's fine. This game is a
it's
what,
an
a
older
12-year-old
game.
game.
Yeah, I mean, if we convince you to play it, maybe this is the thing that convinced you to play it. But the first
I
half of
don't
the
I
game,
don't I don't think we're gonna I don't think we're gonna have a hard time spoiling a Lego game. Besides, like maybe Lego Batman 2, like I was saying,
well,
that one
one
might be a little bit more.
one clever thing they did put into this game, and I do give them credit for it. I think maybe it is more interesting. But the problem is, I'm not going to make it to the second half of this game. I just know it. You play the
Right.
first half of the game as Batman and Robin.
Hmm.
You go through, you cliche your way through the game. And then in the second half, what you do is you actually play as all of the villains. And you play them, I guess it's presented as sort of chapters. So you
Hmm.
play from what they see up until their respective fight with Batman, which you played in the first part of the game. So it's kind of unique in that approach.
That is neat, and that's a good way to get those other characters to be playable in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, right. Um, but yeah, I mean the concept for the game itself, the way it was written, the entire game was built around the idea that all of the bad guys from the Batman universe broke out of Arkham at the exact same time. So that's the idea they literally put on the whiteboard, and then
Classic Batman.
yeah, they built the game around it. Yes, Arkham Asylum made of
Uh-huh.
walls made of paper. Um, but I thought that was kind of unique. They came with a single idea, and from that, just that was their focus. They built
Right.
the entire game around it. So I got that from there is if you want to see a documentary on Lego Batman,
Yeah.
the Electric Playground has one that's posted, and it's pretty
Oh,
good. It's in two
really?
parts. Interviews developers. Now again, this is one of those that it's kind of a pre-release thing, so it's sort of designed to get you hyped up.
It's a promotional video, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought it was is interesting nonetheless to kind of get some background as to what went into the development of it and everything.
Nice.
Did you figure out the third part?
Yeah, the third one's called Beyond Gotham, but there's actually a DC supervillains
Okay,
game. Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. But I guess like in this game specifically, they are kind of keeping it while they are working with the whole Batman universe, or at least a large chunk of it. They're largely sticking with Batman, um, and not going into the rest of the DC pantheon. And that's where it goes in like the next couple of games. You start seeing Superman, you start seeing Aquaman, you start
Okay.
seeing Lex Luthor, you start seeing everyone else's rogues gallery.
I wonder too if maybe my lack of interest in this specifically. I don't think it is, because I think if they made a Marvel type thing as well, I
Hmm.
care. I like Marvel more than I like DC, which is probably
Sure.
not unique, but um, I don't care for the video game side of either of those universes, I guess. So I don't know
Right.
if it would help in that instance. I guess
It
the
might.
the best chance for Lego games would be probably in Star Wars.
I think these games hinge a lot on the property that they're portraying.
Uh-huh. Yeah. 100%. Yeah,
Um,
I would agree with that.
I don't think Lego Star Wars would have been a huge hit if it wasn't Star Wars, and also doing Star Wars in a fun way.
Yeah, I mean, every time Lego humor is inserted into something, I'm not, it doesn't make it better, but it does make it
Sure.
worth paying attention to. I
Yeah.
love
Sometimes
Lego.
it's fun to see like, oh, that's cute. Like
Yeah, the
how
movies
they
that
did
have
that.
come out,
That's neat.
the movies are awesome. They're great,
Hmm.
and that's the same kind of humor you get in these games.
Yeah.
So, um, and as I said, the critical reception, Moby scores range between 85 and 67, which is a pretty narrow window. And then Metacritic sits at 76, which falls smack dab in the middle. So that's what I was saying. Like, there's a ceiling with these games. You don't really get too far above that. 85 would be an 8.5, and you know anybody who rates to 10, obviously, and
Hmm.
67, it was the lowest score that movie had. So it's it falls right in. You know what you're getting, and it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
it's it's never bad.
No, we got a
So
decent time. It doesn't excite me.
yeah. Um, Before I
I
get
do.
into like ways to purchase the game and stuff, do you
Oh,
have any
sure.
other?
No, I
Uh,
was just gonna say I really like that the one of the resources that I found for information on this is called Brickipedia.
that's,
So
is that a Wikipedia dedicated entirely to Lego?
I
Just
think so.
okay, perfect.
Is it Lego video games? No, it's all like Lego and Lego adjacent things. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, it's on. I guess it's a fandom
Oh yeah,
site,
fandom is glorious,
but
man.
Brickopedia is just a inspired name.
Well, if you
Uh,
do have interest in picking up uh, Lego Batman, the video game, I saw
mhm,
it on Steam and on Epic for 19.99. I see it on Good Old Games for 14.99.
that's not bad.
That's right. And
I
then
bought
it's
it
also
used.
sorry. Go ahead.
I said I bought it used for PS2 for about $10.
Oh, there you go. You can buy
Yeah,
it used for PS2 for $10.
yeah.
Don't pay a cent more. And then it's also part of the Lego Batman trilogy, which includes obviously this game. Do
Mhm.
have the titles right here.
Come on,
Lego
Chris.
Batman
What is
2
it?
DC Superheroes and Lego Batman 3
Partially.
Beyond Gotham. And
I'm gonna have to look at
that
this part.
compilation is 49.99. It saves you $10 if you were to purchase all three individually. So
Sweet.
I don't have too much else on Batman.
No, it's Batman. It's Lego.
It is. Should we move on to the next game?
Yeah,
Great.
I think so. Wait,
Great.
let me scroll down my list of. Oh, I copy and pasted all of the characters that are in this game. There's actually surprisingly a lot that are only on DS.
Oh, okay. I
So,
wouldn't
all
have
right,
seen that
I'm
coming.
just gonna list these off quick.
Do it.
Heroes you could be: Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, Bruce Wayne, which is redundant. Um, those are all on the console versions. Only on DS though. Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, The Spoiler, Barbara Gordon, Azrael, Huntress, Harvey Bullock, Lucius Fox, Jeremiah Arkham. Who the hell is Jeremiah Arkham?
I could have said that about 5 of the names you said before him.
Um, the villains. There's actually more villains than heroes in the regular version of this game, or the console version of this game, not regular.
I guess
Uh,
universe wide that would make sense though, right?
right, right. I mean, in the main game, you are playing as Batman, Robin, and like the Batmobile or a Robin cycle, or like some sort of vehicle for either one of those characters. I don't even think you like start off as any of those other characters in the main game. Um, villains: the Riddler, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two Face, Penguin, Bane, Catwoman, Killer Croc, Man Bat, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Killer Moth, Mad Hatter, the Scarecrow, Ra's al Ghul, Hush, and then there's henchmen, goons, minions, and then only on DS, Victor Zaz. Why would you want to be Victor Zaz? It's kind of lame. Black Mask, the Ventriloquist, Dr. Hugo Strange, Talia al Ghul, and Firefly. So it seems like you're getting way more game on DS,
Yeah, that's
according to this
strange.
list.
Actually, you say DS. I don't think I
Mhm.
listed DS. I didn't. I didn't list that as a platform.
It might not be exactly the same game, but
Okay, gotcha. So
there
you
is a
might be able
version
to get
on
it on DS
DS.
as well. Well, you
Yes.
obviously can get it on DS. That has been established, I guess.
Apparently, all the they made all these characters for nothing. Otherwise,
You can play the DS version, but you have to use your mind.
yeah. All right. So I think we can finally move on to a long-running franchise.
Yeah, it's maybe my randoms broke.
It,
Um,
it might be if it gives us another one of these in like the same franchise, maybe it might be.
Excel's like you only wanted long running franchise, right?
This next game is Just Dance 2014, which was released on the Wii, the Wii U, uh, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Was it released on the previous consoles? I don't
It
think it
was
was.
released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well.
Yes, that's right. That was the same year that those released.
Yep. I don't think it was released on the generation
It
prior.
was quote unquote available on consoles with motion controls. There's no
Yes.
other way to play it. That's so. Just Dance 2014. That is a game where it's a rhythm game. It was traditionally. It was originally a series for the Wii that would make use of the Wii remote. and the game would track like where your hands moving or like your body movement based on like the gyrometer, the
Yeah.
Wii sensor.
Yeah, that thing.
Um, so they decided to bring this game to multiple consoles, and that's why you see it on things like Xbox One or Xbox One, not Xbox One, not X. Wow.
Yes, Just Dance 2014 is
But,
not on Xbox Series X.
I mean, you can.
I
You
guess.
just have to hook up a Kinect.
Oh, wait, does Xbox One X or Series X? They're not going to have Connect functionality.
Let me go check my Series X quick.
Well,
If you want to talk a little bit about
yeah,
Just Dance while I do that.
sure. So, Just Dance, developed by Ubisoft Paris Studios and published by Ubisoft. It is obviously a music rhythm game released in 2013, despite it having the 2014 title. And that's how video games work. I've never played a Just Dance game, and it's because I don't want to, honestly.
They're pretty fun.
I just the idea of doing it isn't. It's less of a Chris thing than Lego video games. We'll say that. I don't. Yeah,
Got it.
DDR.
Not a dancer. Got it.
Yeah, DDR more readily available in arcades, things like that. I don't think I've done that either. So you probably won't catch me
Oh,
playing a dancing game.
see,
Period.
I'm more into DDR because it's more of a defined thing that you're doing. Like Just Dance is pretty casual
Hmm.
because you're not working with like exact movements. Like it approximates it pretty well.
Okay.
I guess you have more. You could dance like a normal person more than you would like in like a Dance Central, which does like track your whole body
Okay.
and all of your,
Obviously,
like your
Dance
arm,
Central is
legs, and head motions.
not something that I've played either. But okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like DDR is more gamey than this is. This is more party fun. Uh, put it on. Uh, dance with your friends. Dance with your family. It's a rhythm party game, really, more than anything.
Okay. And obviously, series is still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Usually is how they start prior to the COVID. How they start every E3 press conference that they have is with
Yep.
a big crazy Just Dance number.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so each one of these releases, they did use a different method of motion tracking because every console had a different way of doing it.
Right.
The Wii version used the Wii Remote. The
Yes.
Xbox 360 and Xbox One used the Kinect, and the PS3 and the PS4 used the PlayStation Eye, which was actually optional. And
And
the
the move
PlayStation,
controllers.
yeah, the Move controllers, but those were also optional. Apparently, the PlayStation camera is the only thing that was mandatory.
That makes sense. That would be closer to like the Kinect.
Yeah,
It's just looking for basic body movements, I think.
yeah, and then the Wii U gamepad, I guess, could actually be used as a karaoke mic. Can you confirm that, John, as a proud owner of Just Dance 2014?
I can confirm that.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, they had additional functionality for the gamepad. So they had that karaoke mode. They had some other. I think someone could like select the songs from there. Just weird minor side stuff, but enough to differentiate the Wii U version from the Wii or the beefier consoles.
Hmm. So on the Wii, then, I always thought Just Dance was a one person at a time type thing, but it says that four players dancing simultaneously is supported,
Right,
with up to six on Xbox One.
right, and
That kind of blows my
that's
mind.
yeah. The Wii one is like everyone can have a motion controller. Everyone can have a Wii remote. So if you have four of those hooked up to the console, it's just going to be looking for like the gyro functions on the Wii remote and maybe some of the IR readings from the controller. But I think with Connect, it could recognize up to 6 different bodies, and I think that's where that additional 2 people comes from.
Okay. The newer consoles, the Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One in this case,
Hmm.
also had additional features, including a party master mode, which might have been what you were talking about on the gamepad or the Wii U gamepad, which allowed one player to change the moves, songs, and rules on the fly.
Yeah, that was it. Yep.
Nice. And then the Just Dance DJ mode is also available on the Xbox One and PS4 versions and allow a player to manipulate the beats between songs and be used to transform one song into another. Um, there are apparently 2 versions of this. There's the extreme version and the sweat version, which tracks the calories burned. Have you dabbled? Oh, I guess that's not the
I've
Wii U
dabbled. I've
version.
dabbled with that before, like
Okay,
years ago. Played around with that. That's something that they would have in like Dance Dance Revolution. Like everything that was more of an active motion control game would have some sort of a exercise mode.
okay.
So like, yeah, it's pretty common to have.
I will, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, this may not be true at all, but I have to think that maybe a game that we covered in week one
Hmm.
might have eventually led to something like that. The little game called iToy Kinetic.
Yeah, it was actually probably a really big part in figuring out the technology for things like Kinect or the PlayStation Eye.
Yeah. So um, I couldn't help but think about that when I saw the sweat version, which tracked calories burned.
Yep.
Obviously, a natural
Yep.
progression from iToy Kinetic to Just Dance 2014.
Absolutely.
So it looked like this was also the first Just Dance that had online multiplayer mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not.
So
That's cool.
I can I guess that would, I mean, the capability must have been there prior,
Right.
but I guess they just never rolled it out until 2014.
Well, if you think about it, this franchise was a Wii franchise, and the Wii didn't have very very great online
That's
multiplayer
true.
options.
Was this the
So
first? This wasn't the first one created, like released cross-platform, though,
I
was it?
don't know actually. I've
Interesting.
kind of been silently thinking that.
Sorry, I said
Um,
cross-platform there. That's not the right term. Just on other platforms. Cross-platform means something that a lot different now.
yes.
And Just Dance 2014 was an actual launch game for Xbox One.
Right.
So
And for PS4.
was it this? Okay,
Yep.
I guess that would make
Just
sense.
Dance 3 was on 360 and PS3.
Okay,
Or sorry, Just Dance, I guess that is 2013 is
yeah,
Just
2014
Dance
was the
3.
first entry to have the year
Got it.
instead of the just next number.
Yeah. Uh and looking at like the grand scheme of Just Dances and using the technology that's available, I thought that since this was the first one for like PS4 and Xbox One, that this was the first one that used cell phones as your motion control device. That's actually 2014 or sorry 2015.
Okay.
That is the first one in the main Just Dance line of games in the pantheon of Just Dances.
Well,
Uh,
and credit them for pushing something like that. Again, it's not the game that we drew, but the idea that that exists, this kind of like Lego, this is a known quantity. You know what you're getting with this
yeah.
game. Um, this one a little bit more so, I would say, than Lego, obviously.
Hmm.
But implementing that kind of functionality and that kind of technology, I mean, that's how you keep a series like this fresh. That's how you keep,
Right.
Just Dance 2021, is it out yet? Is it coming out? It's going to be out soon, I know. So
I think it's out.
it might be out already. Okay. I mean, that's how.
It's the week before Thanksgiving. I'd hope that they have a Just Dance out by now.
Yeah, that's true. And not only is it, this is not just a franchise that is released year after year after year. This is a very successful franchise.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
this
Ubisoft
makes some money.
banks on this every year. Like this has a
This is
lot of
TikTok the
fans.
video game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Just Dance is fun, and like if you're with people who want to have a good time dancing, this is probably a good thing to throw in the mix. Have you looked over the list of music for this game?
Um,
And is there
I
anything that you would like?
glanced at it. I saw some
Okay.
Lady Gaga in there.
Well, I
Um,
mean, it's named after the series is named after a like Lady Gaga song,
oh wow, that's the first
which
time
is
I've put those two
Just
things
Dance.
together. Yeah,
Yes.
that checks out.
Which which I was talking to my wife about this, and I'm like, oh, like it's the Lady Gaga franchise, and she's like, yeah, it's named after a song. I'm like, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
It flipped my mind too.
I needed somebody to tell me
Um,
that before I connected the dots.
yes, it's like, oh yeah, that because like this has like hold on, let me pull up the song list. Does this have Bad Romance in it?
Oh, so I'm sure Lady Gaga shows up on every
Oh,
iteration.
I think Lady Gaga's in like every one of these. Applause is the song in this one.
Oh,
Um, but it has 99 Luftballons, which is a rad song.
yeah.
It's definitely a remix. A lot of the songs in these games are like remixes, or if they're popular songs of that year, they're probably not going to be remixed. But if they're older stuff, expect it to be a different version of it. So yeah, 99 Luftballons, Applause, Aquarius / Let the Sunshine In, uh, Blurred Lines, famous
Uh,
Robin Thicke song.
yeah.
Uh,
Oof, that song has not aged well.
no, I mean it was bad at the
It was
time.
bad then. It's worse
It
now.
was everyone hated it at the time, and then it just became a meme.
Yeah, I wonder how it feels to be responsible for just pushing that whole thing to the point where like this is no longer at all acceptable. You have crossed the line.
Yeah. There's Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr.
All right. See,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, there's
I
some
get
good
up
stuff in
and
here, man.
shake my moneymaker to that one.
Good stuff. Rich Girl by Gwen
Okay.
Stefani.
More likely that I shake my ass to that one.
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's Nicki Minaj. There's David Guetta. Uh, there's Prince Ali from Aladdin. Weird.
Okay. All right.
Um, sure. I guess they got a little Disney. There's some One Direction. Daft Punk. Oh yeah, Get Lucky. This was probably the year that Get Lucky came out. It was the song of the summer. Yeah, it was 2013. Anyways, there's probably some music for everyone in these games.
Yeah.
This might be the first one with downloadable content, actually.
Yeah. I mean, much like the earlier, I think online functionality would have been there. It just depends on, I guess, whether or not they decided to pull the trigger on DLC.
Right. Spoilers, it's not the first one with downloadable content.
Ah,
Whoops. Anyways, yeah, I didn't really find anything too much about this game other than what we've talked about. Like, it's kind of one of those games that, or one of those franchises that's on a yearly churn. You don't really hear many development stories
yeah. No, I mean
because
it's
it's one of those expected things in life. There's death, there's taxes, and there's Just Dance every October or so.
yeah, and it's a credit to them. We didn't mention developers much with Lego, but with both of these
Mhm.
two games, when you click on some of the credits for the people that work on these games, they don't work on one or two of these games. These people work on year after year after year after year. I mean, they have honed their craft on this. They
Yeah.
have, there's a reason that these games exist and come out as frequently as they do. It's they've
Well,
found,
it takes a certain kind of developer to work on a music game. Like if you think
yeah,
about like Harmonix working on Guitar Hero and then moving to Rock Band, like there has to be an interest in that design in that space. And it shows if they can release something year after year and still get people excited about it. Why not just keep doing it?
right. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of critical reception, Metacritic didn't have enough reviews for a critic like a score to actually post, but they did have two in there, one from Impulse Gamer, one from IGN with an 86 and a 77 respectively. User score is a 6.5. Open Critic sits at a score of 73. So again, a
Mhm.
perfectly, as it relates to critical perception and things like that, it's a very passable, if not good game.
Yep.
But it does appeal more to the people that are very much into Just Dance, and they're out there and
Yep.
they're everywhere.
Yep.
Um, so Just Dance is it's a big thing. So that's
Yeah.
Just Dance 2014. Do you have anything else on Just Dance?
No, I'm looking forward to playing it some more, actually,
All
and
right.
looking into diving into 2021 at some point. I think that's the plan in this household soon.
There you go. This is a
Um,
good time to do it. You can't leave the house. I mean,
no,
you
I mean you can't
can,
put a
but
well, I mean you
maybe
can
not
put a
much
price on good ways to exercise inside your house, but like this is a fun way to kind of break that up. Like if you want to do some cardio, you can't necessarily go to a gym. It's getting cold out. You can't go for a run as easily.
yeah.
Just dance.
Just
It's gonna be okay.
do I have to get Just Dance just to stay not to stay healthy. I need to get healthy again. So
Yes, both.
I'll consider it. Well, great.
I'm just
Let's
gonna
move
play
on
WoW.
to what's that?
I said I'm just gonna play WoW.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of running in that game, nonstop.
I do. I run across that entire world.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to keep fit. Um, let's move on to our third game. This is a game called The Croods
In a long running franchise.
Party. Yes, it is based on
Actually,
something that did exist.
so the Croods Prehistoric Party is actually a pretty good pull for this week because I think either this week or next week the sequel to the Croods comes out.
Oh,
Like
that's
there's an
right. I have
actual
seen
movie
commercials.
sequel, um, which I think is what it's like the new age or like the ice age. I feel like with like any cartoon that's set in like the prehistoric era, they always have to do like their normal like this is prehistoric life, and then the sequel is always this is the end of the prehistoric life. This is everything. This is like the beginning of the ice age. Um, I don't like they did that but with like Land Before Time.
Yeah,
They did that with Ice Age. They're
yeah.
doing it with this.
There is a tried and true formula.
I think that's how the show Dinosaurs ended.
Okay, yeah.
Was going into the Ice Age. Actually, just a very sad ending to a TV show.
Is that the one with the big dinosaur? Okay,
Dinosaurs was like a sitcom on ABC, and
yeah.
like all the characters are puppeteered dinosaurs,
Okay,
all made by like the Jim Henson Company. It's awesome. That show's great.
it's something I
The
might have
whole
to go back and check out. I've been
not
nostalgic
for
for that
mama.
old. That's like 80s, 90s,
I think it's like mid '90s, early.
90s. Interesting. I missed that time. Simpler
Anyways, the
times.
Croods
Yeah,
Prehistoric Party,
right.
another party game.
Yes, this one is a party game. Developed by Taurus Games,
Yep,
published by D3 Publisher of America. Um,
yep.
it is a party game released in 2013, released on the Wii, the Wii U, the Nintendo 3DS, and the Nintendo DS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, real quick, Just Dance. I don't know how you can buy that now. You could probably get a used version. I don't think it's available in any
I
store.
bought a used version for about $10
There you go.
for the Wii U.
Uh, oh,
Actually, I think all the ones that were on PS4 and Xbox One are still downloadable on PS4 and Xbox One.
oh, okay, yeah,
So
makes sense.
yeah,
So
don't know the price.
the Croods. Sorry, I derailed that conversation backwards for a less than stellar reason. So
No, that's fine.
the Croods.
I don't mind, and I'm sure our listeners don't mind. Listeners, if you do mind, please let us know in the Discord or
Yeah,
send us an email
exactly.
at pgshowinbox@gmail.com.
Yes, say thank you for going back and making sure that you now know how to buy Just Dance 2014.
Please show us your receipts of Just Dance 2014.
Uh,
If you could send them off to the Ubisoft CEO as well to let them know. It'd be great. We're
All right,
going for sponsorships.
circling back to the Croods. So I have seen parts of the movie. It's one of the movies that
Okay.
are on Jack's rotation. Um,
Okay. Oh, so you have a new one coming in then. You
yeah,
can add to your Croods franchise.
assuming it comes to Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, or any of the other. No, I think those are the only three that we have. Uh, assuming it comes to one of those, we'll probably watch it. But other than that,
Sure.
I think you'll just have to miss
It's
that
gonna be
one.
in theaters.
Yeah,
It is in theaters.
not where I'm going to be spending my evenings anytime soon. That's for sure. But that's really all I have personally, like as it relates to familiarity with the Croods. Have you seen the Croods? Do you know anything about it?
I have not. I always kind of avoided it. I was always like a Pixar snob growing
Oh,
up.
oh,
Um,
one of those
like
people.
any like three or like CG animated movie. It always had to be like, oh, is it Pixar? Cool, then I'm in. If it's not, I'd be super hesitant about it. And I've really come off of that in the last like 10 years or so, I think. But the Croods still looked like it was off enough that I just didn't want to see it.
Okay, fair
Um,
enough.
who's in this movie? Nicolas Cage, Emma Stone, Ryan Reynolds, Catherine Keener, Clark Duke, Cloris Leachman, and Randy Tom. Like it's a good cast.
Yeah, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is
John
not
Cleese
his
did the
typical Ryan
story.
Reynolds self, though. I will say he plays I think Guy, and you could tell it's him, but it's like, come on,
Yeah,
do your Ryan Reynolds thing.
right. Well, at that time, Ryan Reynolds was just handsome actor who was in things sometimes,
That's true.
and now he's Ryan Reynolds. He's Pikachu.
Yeah,
He owns a cell phone company or part of it.
yeah
He
he's
owns a gin company.
he's done some things, and he's still
He's
just so charming,
yeah,
and still
yeah,
like
absolutely.
he's also Deadpool.
Yeah,
So I mean, the
he's
range
Green Lantern.
he displays. Um, but let me read the kind of the back of the box here to get you familiar with what
Sure.
the Croods Prehistoric Party is.
Mhm.
Play as your favorite character from the Croods and journey through 30 unique and addictive multiplayer minigames. The Croods Prehistoric Party combines the ultimate fun of a family party game with Crude style action as you journey through 30 unique and addictive player multiplayer minigames, which it's the same they have.
Wait, how many times did they say 30 addictive multiplayer mini games
Uh,
on the back of the box alone?
we got one more, so I think we're
Okay, great.
at three. Um, Game boards bring the Croods world to life, complete with hazards, never before seen creatures from the film, which I thought was strange because if
Wait,
never
what?
before
That
been
does,
seen, then how are they from the film?
they're from the film though.
Yeah,
Don't worry
hilarious
about it.
surprises and rough and tumble competition that only the Croods family can bring. Challenge your friends with the ultimate mix of family fun and Croods themed party games. Play as any one of the lovable Croods family members: Grug, Uga, Eep, Thunk, Sandy, Gran, and Guy. 4-player multiplayer fun, 30 mini games on 5 unique unlockable boards.
I'm sorry, how many mini games? Can
30.
you clarify? Excuse me, I don't think I got that.
30 mini games. Oh my god.
13 or 30?
Oh,
Are they addictive?
and then not in this last note, but in case you missed it the first time, it features spectacular landscapes and never before seen creatures from the film. Um,
And I can't wait to see these creatures.
yeah. So that's how they promote it. That was on the back of
Doesn't
the box.
sound like much of a party though.
They repeated the same 3 things multiple times.
We Someone got paid by the letter.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
think.
We still got a little blank space
Just in
there.
case someone's eyes glaze over while they're reading the back of this, we'll make sure we'll get our point across.
Um, yeah. So that's the back of the box.
Wow.
Interesting little nugget to the Wii U version can be played entirely on the gamepad screen, which is
Oh,
that a
let's see.
pretty common thing? I never had a Wii U.
Yes, but usually for like single player games.
Okay. Oh. Oh.
Um,
You have to like
because all it does is like if games aren't really using the touch screen for anything, they could just mirror the TV image to the Wii U screen.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I held a Wii U once at a friend's house.
It was really neat for like Xenoblade Chronicles X because
Okay.
I could just play that thing on the couch while my wife was watching something
Oh, cool.
or like playing Pokken. Like it's the Wii U's a neat device, but it's definitely like the proto Switch. I'm so much happier with the Switch design than the Wii U.
Yeah, no, the Switch is cash money. I love that thing.
So good. So good.
Um, so John, what did you find out about the Croods? Like what kind of stuff? I watched a Let's Play video.
Mhm.
And I pulled out some things, but I wanted to give you give you a chance to lead this part out.
I mean, it's a pretty basic looking Mario Party like game.
Mhm.
Um, like you take turns, you roll dice. Like you roll dice.
Yeah,
It's
even
I
then,
watched a few videos of this. I saw like kind of bland environments that these characters are board gaming around. Um, and then going into like mini games
yep.
that didn't seem very fun.
Yeah, the so some of the mini games that I saw. Well,
Mhm.
actually, here there's one thing that drove me nuts because you touched on the dice.
Yes.
When the player would roll their dice, okay, like, again, it's a dice roll. This shouldn't bother
Yes.
me, but it would come to a stop, and then it would kick in an animation. So you would see the dice stop. It would kick in an animation to bring it closer to the screen so you could identify what it was.
Sure.
Even though the dice had stopped on the board, it would bring it to the screen and turn it to a number that was not the number that it was on the board. It's like it's cheating. And it did it like 3
uh,
times, like
hold on, I'm pulling up a video right now just to watch this.
yeah, it's if you wanna watch the video that I saw, it was a Let's Play by Wishing Tikal, Wishing
That's
Tik.
actually that's the one I pulled up.
So if you watch it,
Uh,
it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen occasionally where like the dice as it's it's flat, it's sitting on a flat surface, and it
yeah.
just turns to a different side on the way up to the camera.
The cool thing I just saw that I didn't notice before was when they roll the dice, it's all physics based. So they'll throw the dice against or the die against the environment, and it'll
Yeah.
bounce around and like fall like a not like a real giant stone die. It's almost like something that's like a balloon that's half blown up with helium, like just enough to make it floaty.
Yeah. And just, like, crudely painted the number of dots on each side.
Yeah, which is appropriate for this game. The
Um,
Croods.
oh, I did that accidentally.
Yep.
Uh,
No, you.
game games that I saw included in terms of the mini games, I saw
Mhm.
just straight up memory game. So
Yes.
as basic as it comes, you just take turns, and it's a 4 by 3 board, so it's not terribly complex. There was a King of the Hill style mini game where you try to knock each other off of a single platform,
Mhm.
but it looked like it controlled like garbage. Um, it looked rough. Although I will say,
Yeah.
player one won that game by a score of
Mhm.
96-6-5-8. Um,
Cool.
just barely eked that
Wow.
one out. Um, as much as difficult as was a control for player one, the computer had an even harder time apparently. Um, and then there was this really weird. I'm gonna call it an endless runner, but it was you were endlessly running from side to side on a single screen,
Yeah.
and you were trying to avoid some I don't know if they were monkeys or whatever, but they were like swooping down and like hitting you and stuff. But as I was watching it, I didn't see any input from player one. It was okay. None of the players would change direction until they hit the end. And then they would turn their character on and run back again. At no point did I see somebody stop and turn around. I think that they were just. on a track back and forth for X amount of time at different distances from one another.
Yeah.
I have to think that there had to be some sort of input. Maybe player like the player one just set their controller down to like let the mini game play or something. But I was watching it like, what is going on? Like nobody's doing anything here.
I'm trying to find that clip.
Those were the
I
first 3 mini games.
Oh, is it? Okay. The most fun mini game that I'm seeing in here is it's like a snake mini game where it's just like the snake game where everywhere your character goes, there's a trail that's left behind you, and you can't cross over that trail or else you'll die. And so they're doing it for every character. So everyone has a trail of fire behind them. So you're trying to like trap people into your trail to get them to lose.
Huh.
Snake is an all time classic game.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember
I'm
playing
always
it on
gonna be
my
on board.
Nokia brick phone back when I was in high
Your
school.
Nokia phone, yeah.
Um, the one other mechanic that was I think a very strange direction to take. Those party games. I mean, all of the party games that exist like this, specifically Mario Party, because that's kind of the granddaddy of them all. But when all 4 players have had their turn, usually a mini game will kick in. This is not the case
Right,
with this game. You all 4 players go. You just keep going. The only way a minigame is triggered, it looked like, was from certain spots on the board. So you had to stop on a
right.
spot in order to trigger a minigame. So I thought that was kind of strange because most of the time you want to spend more time in minigames than on the game board because that's
Right.
where the fun is.
But like where do mini games get you?
What did they get you?
Yeah.
They were collecting. What were they
Oh,
like?
they're collecting shells. They're collecting
Shells.
seashells. That's right. That's right. Okay.
So the shells were like coins, but I don't know what you use the shells for. I didn't make it far enough in the Let's Play. I saw a couple of the mini games. I was like, that's good enough for
Like,
me.
I get it. It's Mario Party with characters I do not care about.
But anything else that you see on that video that? I let me think. I might be thinking. Oh, I'm thinking of a different one. Okay, I'm thinking of a different game. Okay, never mind. Whew, glad I
Okay.
didn't drop that little nugget of information. Um,
I guess did you see anything about Taurus? Did
I
that caught
did
your eye?
about Taurus. So some of the Taurus's development credits include. You ready for this?
Yep.
There's some big
Oh,
names.
I'm in. Let's hear it.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition
What?
on the Game Boy. Duke Nukem
Don't tease me like that.
on the Game
Like
Boy Color.
Midway worked on that. Come on.
Yeah, Duke
Oh,
Nukem on the Game Boy Color. Doom 2
for
on
the
the
Game
Game
Boy?
Boy Advance.
Yes.
Dead to Rights
On the Game Boy.
also on the Game Boy Advance.
Wow, I can't even imagine what Dead to Rights looks like on the
I
Game
can't
Boy.
either. That one actually I scratched my head on
Holy
because that was
crap.
an Xbox game,
You just
right?
play as the dog?
Do you really just play as the dog?
I don't know. I hope
Oh,
so.
okay. I thought you looked it up already and were like, oh my
No,
god, you're
no,
the dog.
no, no. I'm not taking the time right now to look that up.
And then
I only have enough brain space for 5 games right now.
and then they did a ton of license games through basically from 2000
Right.
to
They've worked on like Ben 10 and
Cartoon Network
uh
Battle Crashers. I think
right.
that was pretty
Like
well
those
received.
are games I've heard of.
But you mentioned this when we
Uh-huh.
spoke before we started recording. But they had a very interesting quote on their website.
They did.
Well,
Sorry. I don't
there's 2 very interesting quotes. So we'll start with the one that we discussed.
Right.
Um, a little teaser for the Taurus fans. Our next game is on PS5 and Xbox Series X. We think that's awesome. Level up.
I think that's awesome too. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep making games.
Now
Uh,
this is a developer that's based out of Australia, by the way.
right.
Um,
Um,
then
yeah, I mean,
there's a little message underneath that too saying number of platforms 33, and
Hmm.
then there's an arrow.
Greater than 35 plus
Yeah,
2 in
I,
parentheses.
I think what they're saying is that they've developed for 33 platforms. After PS5 and Xbox Series X, they'll be at
Oh, they're
35.
going to 35. I got you. I
So
got you.
they're very and rightly so. They should be. They've worked on a ton of platforms, but they're not. That was worth special note saying they're going from 33 to
Right.
35.
And before we started recording, I mentioned like a lot of their games uh are prop or like TV properties or movie properties. So having so much knowledge of different platforms and developing for them, it's probably good for someone who's trying to make a Croods game or a Paw Patrol game. Um, if you're trying to get like Hollywood to make a game tie-in, that's probably a good proposition. It's like,
Yeah,
we can get this out on everything. Like, name a console, name a mobile platform. We will put this game out on it.
we have experience with this. We've developed for this, so
Yes.
yeah, it is a good look. Um, John, a
Hmm.
question for you, and this may sound like
Yes.
a strange question, but when you hear the word prolific,
Hmm.
um, what do you? Def- I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot. Define prolific for me.
It's something that's been around for a long time and is kind of held up uh, as a shining example of something.
Okay, and that's kind of how I interpret it as well. So, but I
Right.
have a definition. Prolific simply means present in large numbers or quantities. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, prolific carries like this weird
Like a
aura
prestige.
around, right? Like
Right.
Taurus has another quote which threw me for a loop, but then I that's why I had to really understand the true definition of prolific. But
I guess I just have a poor understanding of the English language because now that I think about it, like proliferation is making more.
yeah,
So
so I think this is a brilliant quote because at first glance I was like, I got to do my research here because this quote is from their website. It says
yes.
Taurus Games is the most prolific independent game developer in the world. In over 25 years, we have launched more than 120 titles across 200 SKUs. When I read that first line, I was like, that is a
Yeah.
bold claim. But I realized why they chose the word prolific. Um,
Right.
you know,
You're going wide, not going tall.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be, and again, I don't want to downplay any work
No.
that any developer does. What their way of doing things works for them. Like you
Mhm.
said, the fact that they have 33 now 35 platforms that they launched on,
Right.
that's going to appeal to the
Sure.
license holders that employ them to make games. Um,
Well, I
but
think
very much
the testament to them is people are going back to them to make more games. Like,
yeah,
seems like Cartoon Network is very happy with them
exactly. Yeah.
having putting Ben 10 in their hands, putting Battle Crashers in their hands, which I believe was like a Smash Brothers using Cartoon Network characters.
I couldn't remember if it was that or if it was
Or is that
uh
like a 3D platformer?
I thought it was like a side scrolling beat 'em up with
I'm gonna look
cartoon
it up.
players. I can't remember.
I hope people just like start counting how many times I say I'm gonna look it up during during an episode. It is a beat 'em up. You're right. It's a side scrolling beat 'em up that looks really nice.
Yeah, it features like the Adventureland guys and
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, not Adventureland. That's a
Yes.
different franchise. um, yeah. So I mean, again, yeah. I don't. They're very much a quantity. Oof, that's. I don't want to say that either. I was going to say quantity over quality, but that's not fair to them either.
No.
Prolific is the right word. I'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah, they're prolific.
Yeah.
Now that we know the exact
Yeah. Now
definition
that
of
we
prolific.
see, we're all getting smarter here. Um, I couldn't find any scores that exist for the Croods.
Yeah.
Um, so that's fine. If you want The 3DS version, it looks like if you can get your hands on a used copy from GameStop, looks like it's
Yep.
around $4.99. And I did not see any price on the website, the Nintendo website for the Wii U version.
Let me see. Let me see real quick.
But it also looked like they maybe weren't. I don't know. It looked like there was a spot for the price, but it was just blank. So I'm not sure what that was about.
It might not be available anymore.
Okay, yeah, I guess
I don't
that could
know.
be it.
It's on Amazon for 95.95. What?
Wow,
Whoa, is it just super rare?
I'm gonna just say that's too much money probably for this game.
It's available for Wii for 18.75 on the old Amazons.
So if you have a 3DS and you want to play this game,
Hmm.
your best option is probably $5.
Probably.
But
That makes sense.
it's tough to say having not played it ourselves, but from
Yeah.
watching.
I did actively look for this game at local stores and could not find it.
Okay,
So
so yeah, it's
Mhm.
maybe it's a competent version of a Mario
I mean,
Party
party
clone.
games are fun.
Yeah. So I will say when I was looking at it, when I was watching it, I was like, I wish this pandemic wasn't a thing because we could find a version, we could play this damn
Oh, we
thing.
could totally play that.
But alas, here we are.
Uh, Maybe in like April
God, I hope so.
or later.
Um, well, that's our first three games. What say we
Yeah,
take a break?
sure. Sounds
Cool.
good.
All right, we'll be
Let's do it.
back in just a bit. Welcome back. How was your break, John?
It was good.
Good.
It's good. Made a drink.
Nice.
First beverage that I've had on this show
Perfect.
ever. So it's only going to go downhill from here,
Just
or it's going to get way better.
un, un,
Right?
unable to process anything you say in the next 20 minutes. I
It's
also
going to be
cracked a beer.
slurring.
So
Oh, good. Good.
yeah,
Good for
let's
you.
let's party to the second half of the show.
We've had multiple party games so far. We might as well party ourselves.
And you know what? A drink would go perfect in an environment where you would play this next game.
Yes.
The next game is aptly named
Uh-huh.
Video Poker and Blackjack. That's the name of the video game.
You think that would have been like trademarked by then? Like
Yeah,
someone would have had that by now.
or you'd think they'd be like, maybe we should have a game name with a little bit more pop to it. I mean, it very much says what the
But
game is.
yeah, I mean, if it is video poker and blackjack, and that name is free, why not take it?
I guess so. Yes, Video Poker and Blackjack, developed by Black Ops Entertainment and published by Play It Ltd. This is a simulation slash gambling game. If you couldn't tell by the title that
Right.
so painfully, obviously slapping you in the face with what it is.
Yeah.
Was released in 2005. Couldn't tell if that was a 5 or a 6. On the PlayStation 2 and on the PlayStation 3. We are talking specifically about the PlayStation 2 version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
John, have you ever played Video Poker or Blackjack?
Man, have I actually? um. So my grandma used to live in Arizona, or she did for like the last half of her life,
Mhm.
and every time that we'd go visit her, her and her not my biological grandpa, but her husband, were um, really big into casinos. Um, that was kind of like we're gonna get out and do something fun. Let's go to casinos. But while they were at home, they had the little LED screen poker and blackjack games,
Mhm.
and so I would just sit there and play those constantly. So that's actually how I got introduced to like the rules of poker.
That's cool. That's the same thing for me. Those little handheld.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
they were
parents
perfect.
got
They were
them.
so fun.
Yeah, they were. It was good. It was a good is a good toilet material.
It sure was.
Is that too much? That's not
No,
enough.
I mean, you can download it on your phone now,
That's
walk
right.
right into the bathroom, and play some blackjack,
Yeah, yeah.
some brown jack.
Yeah, I mean, I do love casinos. I haven't been to a casino in a while for obvious
Oh,
reasons.
it's been a while for me too. Yeah.
But year and a half, oh no, God, it's probably been 2 years now. 2.5 years ago, we went down to Vegas for a bachelor party.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and that was fun, cruising the strip and stuff like that. I love casinos, but I don't go to them very often. So I have not played this iteration of video poker and blackjack, but I have played video poker and I have played blackjack. Um,
Right. The rules don't really change much
no,
going going between different video poker. Like maybe it's like the scoring system that's different.
right?
But the actual rules of poker are going to be the same.
Yeah. Are there jokers in the deck? Like
Right.
there's different iterations to how you play. So
Right, right.
we'll
Which this game does have. Like there are various iterations of poker, and I think there's only one of blackjack in here, sadly.
yeah. I'll read the back of the box again just because
Mhm.
it's video poker and blackjack. So I'm curious, like, what does this thing say? So video
Yeah.
poker is the most popular game in casinos. It combines the excitement of slot machines with the skill of playing poker. This is the most realistic simulation of the casino games of video poker and blackjack available. Now, this was 2005. This may still be true. Um,
I don't know.
by
Oh,
the
of
way,
video poker. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, every
Of real poker. No.
every webpage that I went to that I used for references had these exact same bullet points. So this was they very much just ripped from the back of the box and put all over the place, which it doesn't sound like a strange thing, but this is also the first time that I think I've seen that with any of the games we've covered, where it's carbon copy. Every single website has the exact same description.
Right.
Um, you can learn real play strategies that are the scourge of casinos worldwide. So they're going for something a little deeper here, not just having fun. They're training you to beat the casinos. Um,
Oh, gotcha. Like counting cards and stuff.
Yeah. Identify the best machines to play
Right.
after you master all of the most popular games. Jacks are better, deuces wild, jokers wild, kings are better, double and triple bonus games. Powerful and advanced gambling machine programming, as used in casinos around the world, make this simulator as real as it can get. Discover if you are a real high roller by playing the Video Blackjack Simulator. There was a note on the at like the very last line of this, which I can't wrap my I don't understand. Some PlayStation 2 classic content may not
Mhm.
display correctly when using a standard definition television. Does
Okay.
is that if you're playing on PlayStation 3 and you're playing the
I believe
PlayStation
that's a PlayStation 3
Classics version?
thing.
Okay,
Yes. Yep.
because at first when I read
Yep.
that, I'm like, how would a PlayStation 2 not show up right on a standard definition television? But now that I've read that
Well,
out for the 6th time and realized that it says classics in there, that makes sense.
yeah, it's something that's built for a CRT TV, a 4x3 monitor, and probably like a less than 480p or I resolution. So I
Yeah.
could see how things could look weird. Text might come out odd. Um, I think you'd probably still be able to understand like what cards were out there.
Yeah, you might not know how many coins you have or, the
Oh,
top
sure.
row of like what a royal flush wins you.
But it's video poker. You've already paid the money,
This is
and you
true.
could play it endlessly.
Absolutely.
That's the brilliance of video poker. You don't have to spend more money than the game itself.
Right.
Just time. You can watch Judge Judy, and you can play video poker at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, other than those handhelds, which we touched on at the very beginning, I don't have much of an interest in playing any sort of game that has a gambling mechanic,
Mhm.
a poker, blackjack, whatever. I don't have any
Genshin
interest
Impact.
in playing. I guess I don't have any interest playing something like that unless I'm playing for money. The game is more interesting to me in that way, which
Sure.
I don't do it very often. But if I'm playing a game like that and I know I'm playing with fake credits, I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm making all of the stupid plays because who cares? Um,
I I just like just hitting that sweet hand occasionally. Like, oh, that was a full house. Oh, that was a straight. Oh, that was a royal flush.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you see a royal flush?
I don't think I've ever seen one naturally.
Uh, my grandma used to retire her little LED or LCD video poker machines whenever she got a royal flush.
Oh, she would get it and then be like, "We're done with this one, never again."
Yep, and then you just go and like turn it on, and you just see it there like flashing. And then she had just bought another one to play with.
So what if you push the button again?
Then she'd probably be really mad at me. I don't know. I never did. I was
Yeah,
smart enough not to.
that's a wise move.
I
Um,
knew how rare it was at that time, so I'm like, I don't want to mess with that. That sucks. That'd be awful. I've had someone erase my end game Final Fantasy VIII save while
oh,
I was like right before the final boss.
yeah,
I don't want someone.
that's
I wouldn't want someone erasing my royal flush.
yeah, a row of flush is crazy rare.
Mm-hmm.
I did see the Internet Games Database had a gameplay video. So
Yeah.
was watching it, and it did this thing. Again, I don't play a lot of casino games, like video games. I have
Mm-hmm.
played some in the past. Like I think Hoyle used to have like games that came out at
Oh,
the time for like the older systems. But
totally.
this game does this thing, which I can't understand why you would do this. Um, okay, maybe I can, but whatever. There are only beeps and tones. There is no background music.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you get this annoying drone of indistinguishable voices made to mimic a real casino. It
That's
was
so good.
it was so off-putting to the point where like I wanted to find a copy and just smell the disc to see if it smelled
Yeah.
like cigarettes.
Yeah. Do you? This is the next thing. Like the disc starts smoking, and
Right.
it just smells like a Marlboro.
Yeah, I just was like, is do you really want that part of the casino? Throw some fun background music in there. Just, you know.
Just give yourself a little bit more oxygen than you actually need.
Yeah,
the whole the whole casino experience.
it's not. That's one of the reasons I don't go very often. There's, the casino nearest to us, Mystic Lake, a number of years ago added a no smoking section.
Yeah. That
It
sounds fun.
is literally a cutout in the wall with
Yeah.
nothing separating it from the rest of the casino. Like
No, you just can't smoke there.
that's not how no smoking works. Like it's just
Going to the casinos when I did smoke was like the best.
I
So you just
still
go
have
around
a
just
little
like,
piece
yeah,
of
I'm just gonna
heaven.
smoke and pull some slots. It's great.
Yeah, I get it. For smokers, man. It's that. Oof. That would be
Grab a beer for $1,
just mecca.
because that's the deal of the day.
Yeah.
And then you just go to a slot machine,
Throw
light up a cigarette, and then you just
work through a
pull
pass
the
and
slot
move on to
reel.
the next one, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. No, it's probably why my lungs are destroyed now.
Uh, well, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about with
No,
video poker and blackjack.
it is video poker and blackjack.
Yeah, they're
With blackjack, I believe you only see your hands and the dealer's hands, so you're not working with like a whole table.
oh, so there's no
Um,
counting cards.
yeah,
Weak.
yeah. Well, isn't that also part of what they want to do? Is like
They want to train you
you
how to do
playing the
stuff.
statistics for you against the dealer,
Yeah, I mean, how often are you playing at a table with just the dealer?
right?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it's 2 in the morning,
That's when casinos are
it's
hopping.
probably right. Oh, that's true.
If it's
That's
2 in
true.
the afternoon.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go to a casino and find out again.
Don't do it anytime soon. But we'll have a casino night. Let's have a casino. Let's plan it right
Okay,
now.
yeah, no, that's great. Yes, okay.
That would be
Bring $40.
yeah,
That's it. Go
yeah.
to a blackjack table. See what you can make.
$40 on black. That's how it works, right?
Great. Yes, that is absolutely blackjack. You just black or jack, which What do you
I'm a
choose?
blackjack player. I know the rules, but I get too stressed out. Um,
Yeah.
while there's not a lot to talk about with video poker and blackjack, there's some
No.
interesting tidbits about the developer, Black Ops
Right.
Entertainment. Some of their
They've
notes,
worked on a lot of stuff.
yeah, but some of their noticeable releases, there's some games that I'm familiar with. Treasures of
Hmm.
Deep, a submarine game from the PlayStation 1 era,
Hmm.
released in '98. Tomorrow Never Dies, a 007 game, PS1
Yep.
1999. The
Knockout Kings.
Knockout King series, yeah, those were well received boxing games.
Right.
And then I'm desperate. I am desperate just to know what existed on these, but there is a 4 set of DVDs called Videogame Jumpstart that was
Hmm.
released in 2007, and on the cover
What
it's
does that say?
what's that?
What does the cover say?
The cover it says, "Make video games, make millions."
Like millions of video games, or
I
make
My money
millions of dollars?
they meant dollars, and
Oh,
I'm sitting here thinking,
are they prolific
why have I never
in the video game?
yeah, exactly. Why have I never heard of Black Ops Entertainment? Are they I want to see what
No,
those
it's
DVDs
there.
have.
There are a ton of games here that I've recognized that
Yeah, there
they've done either like work on or ports for, like Fugitive Hunter, War on Terror, which I think is a game where you can. Uh, I mean, this was 2003, so it's 2 years after 9/11. People are in a full patriotic fervor. That's a game where you can hunt down like Osama bin Laden.
yeah, I didn't
Um,
know that. You had brought that up before, and I was
yeah.
that's
There's also a game called America's 10 Most Wanted, which I think is also that same game, but for PC.
um but yeah, no, that's they've they've moved on. That DVD was released in 2007. I mentioned the games
Mhm.
they made from the late '90s, early 2000s, but then they moved on and have done some things that I couldn't research them well enough. But a California Get-In, um, which was
It's
an
actually a really good name.
iPhone game, yeah, but it was like a picture of a nuclear. It looked like a nuclear blast going off, and
Yeah. Yep.
I couldn't. I was trying to find it on the App Store, and it doesn't appear to be there. And then
Mhm.
they made some iTrader software.
Yeah, they started going into like Wall Street like style money tracking or like stock tracking software. They released one in 2011 for the iPhone and iPad. That's iTrader Pro, and then they have AI Trader, which is a mobile web tool. Uh, but the people who made Black Ops Entertainment, the company, not to be confused with Black Ops, the Call of Duty franchise,
Very
the
different things.
long running, prolific Call of Duty franchise. These were graduates from MIT who went on to start a game company. They kind of went through the paces of making games. A lot of them were it looks like contract work for different companies, but now they've kind of settled into app development and moving away from games themselves, which
Yeah,
is an interesting path. Also, this website looks like it was built in 2005.
yeah. Does it have a? Oh, it doesn't have a. I was hoping for a year at the bottom. Shoot. Um, yeah, that website could use some updating. Not gonna lie. But they do have it.
Wait, wait. The very bottom says
Oh,
cheap cheap Fentermine online. I heard that Bill wants to use Forex MetaTrader and hope it is a quality one.
Russian.
Russian ladies for sale on RussianWomen.be. This
Oh,
is just this site's on the up and up. Also, this is literally blackops.com. Like
yeah.
they've been sitting on a very lucrative website name for years and years.
Yeah, that's the boy. That is.
Wow.
I'm so glad you saw that.
Man, what a find.
Is it a link? Ah, better not. I'm not gonna.
Uh,
But
no, it's not, but,
well, I get a yeah.
if you're gonna search incognito,
The
please.
chief Fentermine online is a link. Don't click on the link, kids. Don't do that. Don't do that. But that is I got like the little pointer finger.
Oh, it says it goes to networktau.com. If you mouse over it. I have no idea what that is. I'm not gonna click it. I don't trust the site.
I also will not be doing that. But so this company did seem to have kind of its a couple core areas that it focused.
Mhm.
I see basketball games,
Yes.
Madness 2000, 2001, Street Hoops and One. I see boxing games,
Right.
obviously the
Yeah.
Knockout Kings 2000, 2001, 2002. I see 007 games. And then there was the early stuff was air combat, helicopter and jets, and then there's some the two games that you mentioned about the Fugitive and America's 10 Most Wanted.
Mhm.
Video poker and blackjack is super the outlier here.
Oh, it totally is, and it's probably the game I'd wanna play most right now
Think it
out of
is,
most of these.
yeah.
Uh, except for maybe Warpath Jurassic Park because it's a fighting game with Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
Oh, is that just Primal Rage?
Probably not as good. I think it's a 3D fighter. Yeah, it's a 3D arena fighter.
Oofta. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure I've played that at some point. That's right up my alley.
But yeah, so that's. I mean, Did you find any other notable tidbits on Black Ops?
No, I didn't really. Because we might cover some of these games one
That's
day. We
true.
might be revisiting blackops.com.
True. We'll see if they've updated the website by then.
Yeah, I couldn't really find names for anyone or
Oh,
like
I do. Yeah, I do have names.
okay.
Um, the president of the company, the CEO, also executive produces all of the games that they put out.
Oh, sure.
Um, Go Gadget Internet. There we go. Let's see his name.
Oh, it's Body.
Yes, John Body.
Body. Body.
The John.
Not to be confused with John Gotti.
That's yeah. I think that's why.
But two completely different people. No connection. No relation.
Right. But yeah, there's. It sounds like as a company they're still doing stuff. They haven't released anything since 2006 as it relates to video games, but well, eh, mobile stuff aside, I guess that
Right.
AI Trader was in 2019,
And we can't find California Gaddon.
and I can't find California yet, and I can't find Ace Driver. When I looked for Ace Driver on the App Store, I got like every, I got like study guides for every state, like how to pass their driver's exams.
Oh, weird.
So that was strange. Um,
I wonder if Ace Driver is actually just like a. If they made a.
yeah,
Looks like they made like an Uber or something.
yeah, maybe like a delivery.
Yeah, because like
But
so I don't really have much to work on here. It just shows like two pictures of the app on a phone, but there's buttons that say like standing by, wrote ticket, picked up, 11 delivered, job info, admin underscore dispatch in all caps, and then photopod, and then quit and identify GPS.
yeah,
No clue what the hell this thing is.
and these are supposed to be. Oh, okay. I see. The links just zoom you down further in the page. So
Yeah.
those don't have descriptions tied to them. So they're the only information we have is literally a screenshot, the name, the phone that it was released on, or the iOS, the OS that it was released on, and the date.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, check out blackops.com.
Blackops.com. It's a good site.
Yeah, it's just if
10 out of 10 would
blast from the
recommend.
past. But all right, I think we can move on to our last game, and this one's going to be a bit of a doozy.
Okay.
Um,
We have at least a doozy per week so far, so
yeah, this one will be fun. So, John, why don't you go ahead and introduce our final game?
yes, our final game is of a long-running franchise.
It just never fails.
Devil May Cry 2 for the PlayStation 2.
The best Devil May. I'm just kidding.
The last in the franchise of chronological order. Devil May Cry 2. Actually, this game has a very interesting development.
It does.
Yeah, it released in 2005,
No, released 2003.
2003.
Developed by Capcom Production Studio One, published by CE Europe. I'm hoping that's right. That actually might not be the.
Capcom Europe.
Yeah,
Let's see, Europe is.
it could be. It is a third-person hack and slash
Mhm.
released on the
It's a character action game, if you will.
character action game. Okay. Released on the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Switch. Um, and
Yeah, it is on Switch actually by itself.
by itself, yeah, the
Mhm.
PS2 version is released on 2019. It was released on Switch in 2019. And then there's also part of the Devil May Cry HD collection available on Switch, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
Yes.
So I don't know much about Devil May Cry 2. I beat Devil May Cry 1 a couple months ago for the first time. Um, I will plan on playing Devil May Cry 2 on my channel at some point. I'm just not there yet. But I have heard while playing Devil May Cry, I had heard how divisive Devil May Cry 2 is amongst its fans.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and my research shows me that that is a very accurate take from my viewers
Yes.
that were kind enough to chime in on that. But one of the cool things that I also found out while doing this research is that there is an anime that was based between Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 2.
Which is wild because the entire series takes place between those two.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, it does.
Because like once they started releasing like 3, 4, 5, I believe I don't know about 5, but I know 2 is the last one in the chronology.
Of 3 and
And
4.
3 is the first one.
Yeah,
So it
I
goes like
don't know where 5 ended
3,
up either, but
3, 1, 4, 2, I think.
I I don't recall the exact order, but I will say that I did start watching the anime because I was curious.
Oh, really?
And it's, it's fine. I was doing some research while I was watching it, which was in hindsight probably a dumb move because it was in Japanese and with subtitles. So I could
Mhm.
really well, like I couldn't follow along super well, but I do know it was stylish, uh,
Yes. Was there action?
violent as all get out.
Okay, good.
It's actually been banned in China, which is not that hard.
Well, I mean, was there skeletons?
Well, it was Vine. It was banned, and the reasons that were given was because it was straight up pornographic, which uh,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
depends on what their definition of that is. I haven't seen anything.
Right. Well, you haven't finished it,
That's
so
true. It could get pretty rough, but and then it was also banned because of what did they say? It was something about like offensive to human nature or something like that. I thought that was kind of funny.
Dante's not a very savory character.
Right, right. But I did finish the first 2 episodes of that. I think there are 8 episodes. So, I might
Oh,
just see that through before I get into Devil May Cry 2. I'm not sure if it'll fit
seems
all.
alright so far.
Yeah, it's
Gotta catch you up on that series.
yeah, I really like Castlevania on Netflix, and I think it's just because I have a little bit of experience with the source material.
Mhm.
But I'm not a big anime guy in general. So Devil May
Sure.
Cry is kind of like, okay, I'm familiar with the source material. Maybe I'll get into it.
Mhm.
And so far it's good. I wish that it was dubbed just because um
It's easier to
it's just easier for me to follow along.
parse what's going on. Yeah, absolutely. I watched anime for 20 years. Yeah, nowadays I kind of just prefer having a dub. Like, yeah, I want it to be good, but also I sometimes want to have it on in the background while I'm doing something else, and I
Yeah.
can actually pay attention to it that way. Um, yeah. I guess just a quick aside. If you're looking for anime to watch, I know you stopped playing Trails in the Sky, but there is a movie version of that first game that is on Hulu, I believe. So if you want to get caught up on that story,
Interesting.
there's an anime version of Trails in the Sky.
Does that take you up to the third or fourth? Does it like fill you
I
in?
think it's just the first game.
Oh, okay. Well, I might do that then because
Yeah, exactly.
I really wanted to
You
get
should.
back to Trails in the Sky after starting it, but I never did.
Yeah,
So
we got time.
I do.
You're in quarantine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, Devil May Cry Dos. Um, so yeah, this game's kind of weird. It's a little bit of a departure from the first game.
mhm.
Um, it's more. There's a few different reasons why Devil May Cry 2 is built a bit differently from 1. Uh, and it happens to be from the development of both games. Devil May Cry 1 started off as a Resident Evil 3. One of their versions of Resident Evil 3 that was coming out, or that they were developing. That one was directed by, is it Hideo Kamiya?
Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya. Jeez.
I think it's
Um,
Hideki, right? Well, now
yeah, it's
I
it's
remake
Hideki.
myself.
He's gonna block us on Twitter for that. Um,
his claim to fame.
yes. So Devil May Cry 1 was originally Resident Evil 3. The way that the game was turning out ended up being a pretty big departure from Resident Evil, so they decided to make it its own franchise altogether. And that's how we get the stylish action game of Devil May Cry 1. Devil May Cry 2 was greenlit before Devil May Cry 1 was fully localized. So it had never come out in the US. I'm not sure if it came out in Japan at the time. By the time 2 started development. But they started developing Devil May Cry 2 with a completely different team. So Kamiya was not part of the development for it at all. He actually found out when some like a manager from the Devil May Cry 2 team came and asked him for the DMC 1 dev documents. And he's like, what do you need these for? They're like, oh, we're making a second one. And no one had told him.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right. So the people who were making 2 didn't have the design docs from the first one, so they were going off of what they kind of knew about Dante's character and maybe some of the attacks that he had, but they mistook it for Devil May Cry having a more serious tone. Because if you look at Dante, he's a kind of a brooding looking character.
He's
Um,
almost a silent protagonist in that one. I mean,
right,
which
but there's still some like in cutscenes and stuff. There's still some. He's got some sass. He's got a little bit of. He's kind of a jerk. He's kind of a fun dude, which like that's more explained in 3. But the people making 2 were working off of very little information from 1, so they ended up making a pretty different game. Another complication with 2 was as they were making it, they found out it wasn't that fun and it wasn't that great. So they actually switched the director about 4 months before the game was supposed to be released.
and I had heard like what I had seen was it was yeah between 4 and 6 months, but it was not only not that fun, it was borderline unplayable
Right.
at that point.
Yeah. So they brought in, or Capcom brought in, Hideaki Itsuno, who had worked on fighting games until then. So he worked on Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Rival Schools, Power Stone. And Rival Schools and Power Stone, he was the director for those. So he's been around Capcom for a while, and he gets this project with 4 months left in development, and actually kind of salvages it a little bit. Like Devil May Cry 2, I don't think is a good game, but it's passable. At the time that I played it, I had a good enough time with it, but like kind of dropped it halfway through. Um,
Yeah, and it sounds like it took a Herculean effort to get it to be even that good.
right,
If
right.
they
They're
would have
like
kept pushing forward, it could have been disastrous for the
right.
franchise.
Which I mean, luckily it wasn't. I feel like Dante as a character kind of carries it pretty well. And like you were saying, he was mostly a silent character in the first game. But he was doing some pretty cool stuff. And he had a pretty cool backstory that they could kind of play around with in the third one and kind of triage his image and the image of the series altogether. I think the one of the few things that they had from the original version of Devil May Cry 2 was like the stinger attack. It's one of Dante's iconic special moves where he just lunges in with a sword, and takes over a lot of space and gets into an enemy pretty quick. That was one of the few things that they had that they actually kept from the combat system and built upon it in DMC2. The original devs wanted it to be more focused on gunplay. Uh, Not sure why. I didn't really see a reason why, but also there's not a lot of information on the earlier development of this game. Like, there's no record of who was originally directing it.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
That was surprising.
right. And that's maybe a carryover of uh, the secrecy of like Japanese companies or
True. Yeah.
earlier Capcom or Konami games where people didn't use their real names sometimes in credits for games. And being like super secretive about your identity was something that was pretty common in the game industry before the 2000s.
Yeah. So to you touched on him for a little bit, and you might be returning to Itsuno, but I found an interview with him on Gamasutra. Thank you so much for talking about it last week, so I could
Oh yeah,
recall to check these things.
Gamasutra is a choice website. It's
Yeah,
very good.
and this interview was actually from 2019. But yeah, he had said he joined the he said 6 months before the release. Either way, it was very much a time crunch to get stuff done.
Right.
He was pulled into the development as an effort to save the project, as he had already begun work on what became Dragon's Dogma.
That
Um,
early. Wow.
yeah, so that was and he had said in that interview that Dragon's Dogma had been the most difficult game that he'd ever worked on.
I could imagine.
Yeah. Now he had also he also was responsible for directing Devil May Cry 5.
Oh,
Uh,
also 3, 4,
oh yeah, it's true.
and 5.
Yes.
Like, he took on the franchise after 2, um, and kind of sculpted it into what it is today, which is a huge success again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the turnaround of that franchise is incredible, and it's really thanks to him.
Yeah. I have, well, and the reason I brought up 5 specifically, and this is for all of you Dragon's Dogma fans out there. I know that's not the game we're talking about, but he was quoted as saying, before he directed DMC5, he was approached
Mhm.
and he was quoted as saying, "Let me either work on DMC5 or Dragon's Dogma 2." Um, so Devil May Cry made more sense at the time, but for you Dragon's Dogma fans in there, you guys have got a brand new anime, and apparently there's still hope for a sequel, assuming one is already not in the works.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an
I mean,
interesting quote.
well, I mean, you would probably want the dude directing Dragon's Dogma to do Dragon's Dogma too. It's just weird enough that you want that same kind of flavor
Yeah,
in the sequel. Um, yeah, I didn't know that. That's very cool.
yeah. The other, and you might be touching on this as well. I know
Mhm.
you might have been able to find a little bit more stuff than I could on this one, but Capcom had a partnership in this game with a clothing line called Diesel.
Oh, Diesel. Yeah. Yep.
Now I'm sitting here in sweatpants that are 3 sizes too big and,
Are they Diesel
2
sweatpants though?
Yep, I have 2 shirts on that I was given by past employers. I say that because fashion is not my, not me, not who I am.
Well,
So
you got a little bit. You got a little bit of fashion.
I wear headbands on my stream, that's true,
Right.
it's
Yeah, and those are good looking and fashionable.
high fashion, that's right. But what I wanted to know, like,
Because it's on
what
your head,
is
it's at the highest point on your body. Is that why it's high fashion?
there you go. Yep,
Right.
that's how it originated.
Rewind. Can just cut that one out? I'm kidding. Actually, I'm gonna keep that in.
Um, but yeah, they had partnered with Diesel. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about Diesel. I decided that I'll never wear Diesel because the only thing I saw within the first 40 items or so for less than $100 was a water bottle, a 3-pack of boxers, and a watch. Um, so
I'm actually surprised the watch is under 100.
it was 95, and it was
Wow.
their least expensive watch. They had other watches for way more than that.
Jeez.
So yeah, Diesel is not it's not a brand that I will probably be switching to anytime soon. But just kind of it was cool that um, Dante and Lucia,
I
she
think it's Lucia.
Lucia, um, who was actually an additional playable character in the game,
Yep.
uh, could have Diesel outfits.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking
That's
of
a,
high
that's a
fashion,
nice. That's a neat tie-in.
yeah,
Like it's not people drinking cokes.
and that's
Um,
that that branding partnership or whatever. I can't say for sure if it was Itsuno, but it was somebody responsible for the development of Devil May
mm,
Cry 2, but having worked previously for Diesel.
oh,
So that's how that
having those
partnership
connections.
came around. Yeah, I thought that was kind of
Very
cool.
neat. Yeah. Um. So you mentioned Lucia or Lucia
Hmm.
before. Um, that was one of the big differences between Devil May Cry 1 and 2 is that there's two characters in this game.
Yes.
He plays Dante. Dante plays mostly like Dante in Devil May Cry 1. Then you have Lucia, who's a little bit faster, a little bit more acrobatic, and uses chakrams, I believe, as her weapon. Um, I didn't look too far into it because I don't know if there's much information on it. Uh, but I had heard that Lucia might have been um, the original just main character of this game,
Oh, okay.
and they put in Dante after the fact because he was recognizable and very popular from the first game. Um, they appear both in the story, like they kind of run into each other occasionally, but I don't think it's too often. But this game on PlayStation 2 actually did have two discs in the
Yes, it
package.
did.
One was a Dante disc, one was a Lucia or Lucia disc. I'm going to keep on just switching back and forth how I say her name.
Perfect. Now nobody
Um,
gets it right.
but I think I read that the discs are almost exactly the same for content.
Yeah.
They just actually just switched out the characters,
Yep.
and that was it.
That's what I
And
read as
maybe some
well.
minor cutscene stuff, but um, yeah, there's really not much in the actual playing of the game that's different. Besides, like their move set, of course, like the actual character data is different, but uh, the way that the game unfolds and plays out is largely the same.
Yeah, and going back to the video that you sent me, and I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm blanking on the
Oh,
name of the
yeah,
guy who.
we should mention that. So
Yeah.
it was very convenient that a week before we recorded this, YouTuber Matt McMuscles released a video in his "What Happened" series about games that had trouble development or kind of fell flat when they released. He did one for Devil May Cry 2, which had a lot of this information in it.
Yeah.
Uh, it was very helpful for pointing me towards things to research and look into. Great video series. He's had ones with about fighting games. I've watched one about like Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, since that is a game that plays really well but had a pretty troubled development. and also just like doesn't look great. Like people aren't happy with like how it looks or what characters are in it. There's a bunch of problems with MVCI that he breaks down really well with Maximilian, who's a streamer and a YouTuber, uh, who's very well known in the fighting game scene.
Well, with his video that he did on this one,
Mhm.
the he made a really good point. You had mentioned it being on 2 discs for the 2 playable characters. He referenced a little video game called Final Fantasy X. How
Yep.
they managed to fit an entire 40-hour sprawling RPG with
Yes. With cutscenes,
areas, cutscenes, just tons of
voice
audio
acting. Yeah.
all on one disc, but yet Devil May Cry's, in his words, 5.5-hour odyssey had to had to be put on 2 discs. I thought that was brilliant, and what it does is it kind of shows that Capcom was aware that they may have a problem,
Mhm.
is promoting this game. So by putting it on 2 discs, they kind of added to the illusion that this game is bigger than it is.
Right.
Um, but yeah, when he called out the Final Fantasy X reference, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that's right."
So good.
Um, so, but we talked a little bit about. Well, before I move on to the critical reception, do
Mhm.
you have anything else that you wanted to add about development or the game itself?
Uh, no, not really. Like the game's like it plays all right. Like it's not as smooth or as stylish as something like a Devil May Cry 3. Um, I played a little bit earlier today, and it's like I actually couldn't consistently get out some special moves like Stinger, his like iconic attack. Like I could not get that off like ever. It's just pushing forward on the analog stick and hitting triangle at the same time. Could not do it. So the game has some issues
Okay.
control wise.
And were you
At the
playing the
very
original
least,
PS2 version or the HD collection version?
I was playing the HD collection on PS5.
Okay, gotcha.
Looks like a PS2 game. So
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing. So having beaten Devil May Cry on stream, Devil May
yeah,
Cry 2 will be coming up on the list eventually to play. So if you guys are
at least it's
interested,
only a 5.5 hour odyssey.
yeah, that's true. I could get it done in a stream and a half.
Hmm.
But if you guys are interested in seeing what that looks like, jump into our Discord. The Discord will be linked below in the show notes. I'll be sure to put an alert out when I do get to Devil May Cry 2, so you guys can partake in that adventure with me. So, um, but in terms of critical reception for Devil May Cry, like I said, this game is divisive. Um, it
Absolutely.
it it right now it's at a 68 on Metacritic and a 6.7 in terms of user scores. Now, this game got a 100 from an outlet called Play Magazine, which I'm not immediately familiar with. They were
Oh, I'm familiar with play.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They said Lucia's tale alone, a cruel
Uh-huh.
sonnet of self-realization wrapped in a story steeped in religious overtones, is reason enough to buy this game.
Sure.
Okay, that may very well be true.
Right. It's been a while since I've seen Lucia's story, so
Yeah. What is Play Magazine a pretty reputable outlet? Is it something that
they
you've heard
were.
of? Okay.
They I don't think they exist
I don't
anymore.
think, yeah, a lot of these names that popped up, including this one who gave it their lowest score of a 30. So that's a 70-point difference
Yep.
from NTSC UK, who called
Mhm.
it one of the most disappointing sequels in gaming history.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, we've got a score of 100 from a critic saying perfect game. Sorry, maybe not perfect game, masterpiece, whatever you want to call 100. And then
Right.
we've got somebody who's saying that this is, or we've got a separate outlet saying this is one of the most disappointing sequels in gaming history. Now, video game opinions will differ. That's just a fact of
Wildly.
life.
That's how yeah, that's how it happens.
But to take this critical reception and compare it to the critical reception for Lego Batman, which we talked about earlier. I think
Yeah.
17 points separated the highest from the lowest score. Here we have a difference of 70 points.
Yeah.
It just shows
It's
how divisive this game really was.
I mean, this was a hotly anticipated game.
Yeah.
I had barely played the first. I think I'd finished the first one once, but it had been like a year before this came out. But I was super pumped for this game. Like I bought it day one. I was in, and yeah, like at the time, I really enjoyed it. Um, Playing it now and like looking back at it and playing like Devil May Cry 3, Devil May Cry 4, Bayonetta. I haven't played DMC 5 yet. I've kind of been waiting for these next gen versions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's so many better Devil May Cry games than 2. And I really think 2 is probably the bottom of the list now.
Okay. And for that reason, I'm glad that I'll be handling the Devil May Cry games in order. I haven't
Right.
played 1, moving on to 2. That way I don't have to just
Now,
really set
when you
back after
do
I
play it, are you going to play as Dante and Lucia? Or are you going to do just Lucia or Dante?
I'm probably just gonna do just Dante. What's Lucia's presence in future games? I've never heard of her before.
Non-existent.
Then I'm gonna play as Dante.
He is
She's
not there.
okay. Weird. Is
As
it
far as I
explained
know,
as to why that is, or
I think because Devil May Cry 2 is poorly received by a lot of people.
oh, all right. Well, that's it. Well, I guess I mean it's if they put it chronologically at the end of the list, I guess there's an easy way to work around why she was there in the first place. But
Maybe she was in Devil May Cry 5.
I, I
Devil May Cry Before the Nightmare. Several years after blah blah blah.
wonder if she shows up in the anime.
After Dante things happen, after the events of Devil May Cry 4 take place, it is revealed that blah 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 somehow made right
No spoilers.
no, yeah, that's why I'm no, it just
Nothing.
no, it's
All
just
right.
Dante was
Well,
under orders sent to deal with a demon.
I will keep a closer eye on the anime as we go forward to see if she shows up.
Sure.
Um,
I'd hope she would if it's between well
I don't know how she's introduced in the second one.
no, so they start Devil May Cry 2 with like Lucia in a church or a museum or something,
Oh,
and like Dante shows up, and then she throws something at him, and then like leaves.
okay, all right. Well, that seems like a
And it seems like they have some sort of a
prime.
history.
Okay, that seems okay. All right, then I'm gonna pay close attention to see if Lucia shows up in the anime. Cool.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to buy Devil May Cry 2, you can currently get it on the Switch for $19.99
By itself,
by itself,
I believe.
just
Yep.
Devil May Cry 2.
I think. Well, and they also have 1 and 3 on there by themselves.
Right, yeah, that's yeah, true. You can buy each one of those 3 individually, or you can get the DMC HD collection,
Hmm.
which is normally $29.99, but I saw on good old istthereanydeal.com. I almost said good old, and I'm like, I can't do that because there's a good
Good
old games
old.
website.
No, actually, it's not called Good Old Games anymore, though. It's just GOG.
Is it just GOG? Okay.
GOG.com.
But on istthereanydeal.com, there is a deal right now for 20% off, $23.93 on Game Billet,
Oh yeah,
which has 20% off. So I've purchased games from Game Billet and had
totally.
perfectly good experience. So
Yeah, that is a legit site. Also, I see this game going on sale occasionally.
yeah,
Like DMC4 Special Edition goes on sale, and the HD Collection goes on sale.
yeah,
Like,
and just as a reminder too, Devil May Cry the HD collection is available on Switch, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox 360, and Xbox One,
and technically Xbox One X and PlayStation 5,
and those as well. Yes,
because I purchased it and played it on PS5,
there
but
you
not
go.
no actual enhancements to the game outside of
Just playable. Yeah.
the raw power. That's it. You are also just playing like a 20-year-old game on like a supercomputer, so
Right. Well, that's I Anything else on Devil May Cry?
No, more people should play that series if they haven't. I think 5 OG5 is on Game Pass.
I think you're right. Nope, I can't. I can't confirm.
Otherwise, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is out as of last week on the new consoles with uh, up to 120 frames per second, or putting in like ray tracing and adding a new character and a new game mode. So
Wow,
if you want a new version of Devil May Cry to play, that would probably be the one to get. It's $39.99 currently.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
As we typically do, then, John, let's rank this list.
Let's do it.
Now, for me, this list is very much a fight of who wants it least.
Yeah,
There's a clear standout, and then there's a bunch of games that I could leave.
sure.
But let's do the same thing as last week. I like the tension. I like the build up to a number
Mm-hmm.
one game, even though it's probably pretty obvious. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not obvious. Who knows?
Yeah, so start at 5,
Yeah,
alternate.
yeah. Um,
Okay,
I think we made you start last week, so I'll start this
sure.
week, so you can have
All right,
the final say on your number one.
perfect.
So I think my number five, the game that I am the least interested in playing, is Just Dance 2014.
Okay,
And that is just because I don't want to dance.
okay. I would make the argument that it might be fun to play with your son and your wife, and have a weird fun time.
Argument crushed.
Um,
What is your number five?
my number 5 is going to be the Croods Prehistoric Party.
Okay.
Just because I don't think it looks like a very good Mario Party clone.
Okay.
And I have no affinity for the Croods themselves. So
Fair
it's
enough.
very much like it's not a reflection of the quality of the game itself, only a little bit, but I don't think a Croods party game would be right for me.
This could be a good week. Because so our first week we did this, we were actually
We were
pretty opposite. Like
we were pretty
not
opposite.
even
Yep.
close. Then last week we were almost identical. This is
Yes.
gonna be another weird week, I think, opposite wise.
I hope so.
So my number four is is actually Lego Batman the video game.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. When I started my research this week and I hit the first two games, I was like, boof. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's my number four. Again, the Lego games have never done anything for me. I can get maybe 10, 15 minutes in, be like, this is fine. And then and then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's for me personally, I've never had the drive to push forward in a Lego game.
Right.
What do you got 3 or 4?
Number 4 for me is probably video poker and blackjack.
All right.
I do like both of those card games in video form, but I don't necessarily like it taking up my entire TV.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's easier ways to play poker and blackjack, and that's not the way I would want to do it. So
Yeah, that checks out. That's actually my number 3 as well.
okay, yeah, I figured those would be just kind of flip flopped for us.
Yeah, I video poker and blackjack are great, but like I said,
If you want the actual experience, you're gonna go to a casino.
I'm gonna throw down some money and we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna actually dedicate time to playing this on my television. So,
Right.
What do you got for number 2?
Sorry, I have number 3 still. Number 3.
Oh, do you? Yeah, you do. Sorry.
Number 3 is Lego Batman. Lego Batman. There's Lego Batman games that I would rather play besides this one. And knowing that it's just Batman characters, that doesn't excite me very much. So number
Okay.
3 is gonna be Lego Batman. Chris, what's your number two?
My number two is going to be the Croods Prehistoric Party.
Okay,
Uh,
why
the
why
the
is that?
the thing that saves it is the idea that while it's maybe not the most well executed party game, um,
Yeah.
the idea of a party game with friends, especially right now, is so enticing to me.
So you're just hoping for the impossible
I
currently,
am.
or you wanna live dangerously,
I
and you
do.
wanna do it with the Croods.
I yes, that's right. That's right. If
Your
I
your neighbors, the Croods.
if it meant the if I knew that I would be safe playing a in-person party game with a group of people, but the only game that I could play was Croods Prehistoric Party, I'd be in 100,000%.
I think you should not tell people the game that you're playing before they come over.
Yes, right. We'll keep that little nugget of
I've got the
information to
Croods
myself.
Prehistoric Party. Play that. Number two for me is Just Dance 2014. Because the Just Dance formula at this point is, I believe, unchanged, unfazed for almost a decade now. A lot of that music is timeless, like the Ghostbusters theme. I would dance to that all night. Let's go.
All right. Okay.
Um, that would be my number two.
Perfect.
Your number one.
And my number one is Devil May Cry 2. Um, obviously, bad game aside, whether if that's truly what it is a game that exists on my streaming list for a reason. Like
Right.
there's an interest there. I want to experience it. I want to understand it. I've beaten the first one. I plan on playing
Mhm.
the entire series, and obviously, I look forward to playing that one when I get a chance to.
Right. My number one is also Devil May Cry 2 by process of elimination. Uh, with Devil May Cry 2 in particular, it really scratches that itch of morbid curiosity. I want to see everything that game is. I want to see how it connects to the other games. Uh, it does have story elements that do connect to other games in the series. So, I guess I could just watch cutscenes for that. But it being a Devil May Cry is still enough to get me over the finish line of I would actually play that, no matter how bad it is. So, Devil May Cry 2, I I I bought it. I bought that collection specifically for that game.
Yeah.
So, um, if that doesn't put it at number one, I don't know why it wouldn't be there. So,
Yeah, this was it was kind of it was a strange week for games.
it was, man, what a week for, games for us, but also games in general.
Yeah,
Um, it's hard to it's kind of hard to research these games when there's a plethora of new games that came
yeah,
out, brand new hardware, a bunch of old games that run better on that new hardware. There's there's so much there's so many video games that are just like occupying my brain space right now that I don't know what to play. I don't know what to do. I kind of have to like sit myself down and focus on one thing.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and you're
so
that issue is worse for you because you also have the PlayStation 5. I don't have that
I have
yet. So,
both. That's
yeah,
correct.
you've got I would be playing Demon Souls, I would be playing
I
Astro's Astrobots play no, what is it?
Astro's Playroom.
Astro's
Yeah.
Playroom.
I've only played 2 levels of that. I've only gotten to the little hub thing in Demon Souls. I fired up Miles Morales for a second just to see what it looked like. Um, there's so many of those games that I'm gonna be playing probably throughout the remainder of the year. That I think at this point my brain is okay with settling down with one of them, like Yakuza, and just going through that. because there's still more coming this year, man.
Yeah,
We have
we've got TBD 2020s all over the place, which may get pushed to
mhm.
2021, but we're running out of 2020 space, which thank God. Let's by all means move on to the next one,
Get rid of 2020,
and
start
hope for
over.
something better. But yeah, it's there's a lot of things that are coming out. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things that are coming. There's things that are coming to Game Pass, and I'm like, all right,
It's
I
true.
gotta try to play that game at some point. And
Got Bug Snacks downloaded, haven't even touched it.
unbelievable.
I know.
But yeah, no,
No.
it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to play new games, and
Mhm.
as these games get better and better and better, it is just as exciting to go back and revisit some of these things that are, you know, for all intents and purposes, forgotten to time.
Right.
So I'll continue to love the time that I get to dedicate spending researching and talking about these games, while
Absolutely.
trying to also stay on top of what's current and all that good stuff. So,
Mhm.
um, and we invite you guys to do the same. Let us know your thoughts, current gaming landscape. What do you think of the games we just covered? What do you think of the first two episodes? Um,
Tell us your story about Devil May Cry,
that's
or
right.
Devil May Cry 2. I have a weird story about when I played that. Maybe I'll write up a blog about it. I don't know.
There you go.
Um, it was a
Um,
wild weekend after that game came out,
and
for America, really. So,
the I would be curious in reading that for sure.
right.
Um, but the coming up on Friday, so obviously we recorded this today's Tuesday. The early access episode will be live on Wednesday on our Patreon,
Yep.
and then the show will release everywhere else on Thursday. Uh, if you are a hold on, let me just make sure I have the tier right before I say it out loud.
$7 or higher, you get early access.
Yes, but there is.
No, you were going for something
I
else.
am exclusive
Well.
voting power. That's not it. I hope we didn't tie it to that tier only. There, okay, it's all right. Well, getting there. Almost got it. Almost got it. Okay, cool. Exclusive voting power finally kicks in for our
Oh,
gold patrons and
right.
higher, because on Friday we are putting out a community vote. If you are a $15 Patreon supporter or higher, you will have the ability to vote on one of the games we choose for a show that is 2 weeks away. We've got the 5 games lined up. We'll be presenting that here in a little bit.
Mhm.
Actually, well, it'll go live on Friday. So anybody who subscribes, yeah, subscribes at the
Yeah.
$15 tier will have access to that. That's the $15 tier, right? That's not John. Let's say we tie that to the $7 tier.
That's fine. That sounds more doable. You get more people in.
Yeah, I think let's
More people's voices can be heard. Absolutely. Let's do the
all right.
$7 tier.
Doing it
Now,
live.
doing it live.
So all of our silver patrons and higher will have a chance to vote on what the 5th game is that we cover in 2 weeks.
So uh any of our Patreon supporters, we're we're I mean we're coming into the week of being thankful for things.
Yes.
Thanksgiving is next week. Um I'd like to say thanks to all of our patrons that we currently have, and any people who uh consider it in the next few weeks and do join our Patreon. Chris and I are looking to grow this podcast and our coverage of games exponentially.
Yes.
So we do have goals and tiers that you can find in episode 1 of the podcast, I believe.
Episode 1, we spent some might
Quite a bit
say
of time
too
on that.
much time talking about that. But if you're curious as to what those are and you don't want to listen to episode 1 again, you can just go to patreon.com/procedurally generated and check out the different tiers that we have and what our goals are for the Patreon. But like I said, we will adjust so that all of our silver and above viewers have the opportunity to vote on the community choice, and then we will be posting that weekly. So every week, the community will have a chance to dictate what one of the games are that we focus on the podcast. Choose carefully, because any that are not chosen are thrown back into the randomizer.
Right, they are not lost to time.
Right. Yes.
They are back in
They have
at some
the
point.
the lowest second chance opportunity that you can imagine,
Mhm.
but it's there. But let's take a second to personally thank our patrons. We have Jody and Mecha Sprite at platinum level. Thank you
Wow.
guys so much. We have Xchin at the gold level. We have the Lone Wolf and Tori at silver. Aussie, John Carson, and Jason Daphnis at bronze.
Yeah, I need to bump up my Patreon level so I can vote for
That's true.
next
Yeah,
week.
you actually have you have no say in this now.
I am a host and a patron. Thank you very much. I
um,
will exercise my civic duty
that's right.
to procedurally generated to pick something that Chris is going to hate to play or to read about.
Rock the vote.
You have my my promise.
Perfect.
You have my word.
And you say play, and that's actually that's one of the things that I'm most looking forward to as we talk about these games. There's so many things as we talk. I'm like, oh, I wish I could show this. Oh, I wish I could show this. So that is one goal that as time goes on, I get more and more excited about hitting is when we start implementing some video into what we do. So
I was staring at a 3DO and an Atari Lynx this weekend, and I'm
oh,
like, how much are those? I should look into getting those. I almost bought I didn't almost buy it, but I did inquire about a Neo Geo cart
okay.
of Metal Slug, because
Ooh.
that was all that they had for Neo Geo stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll think about it for the future. That'd be neat, but I need to find a Neo Geo first.
um
Yeah.
that's about it for that. But if you guys have anything else you want to reach out to us about and you don't want to use Patreon right now, send us an email at pgshowinbox@gmail.com. Reach out to us at Twitter, it's pg_show. We have our Discord, which is linked below in the show notes. So that is now dedicated 100% to procedurally generated. I, as a streamer, have moved on to a different server for streaming purposes. But yeah, just pop us a message. Let us know the good, the bad, whatever you got. Let us know what's on your mind. We'll be happy to hear it. So, um, in closing, if you like this, if you enjoy this podcast, by all means, jump into whatever platform you're listening to this on and leave a 5-star review. Throw some words down on paper. Let us know what you think. Let other people know what you think. Let other people know why they should enjoy this podcast as much as you do. I hope you do. Yeah, John. Anything else you got in closing?
New World of Warcraft expansion next week. Fire up a episode of PG Show.
There you go.
And start leveling in Shadowlands.
Yes, and if you guys want to see us outside of the podcast as well, I am CW719 on Twitch, and John, you are.
I am John Carson Games,
who will be trying to stream as often as he can, but he's a busy man. So if you don't see him live, don't get mad at him.
I'm adjusting to this very busy schedule of researching games endlessly for a week and then recording and editing and then getting back to it. So I'm gonna fit in more streaming, especially with WoW coming out. Next week you'll see me online more.
Yeah. So perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you have a fantastic week. Stay safe, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.